We have our ancestors with us. We're going to continue to dance with them. Dreaming them. Calling them. Seeing them. We are becoming what we were.
It is part of that Mayan prophecies.
7 triangles of light.
Keep walking. You are the spirit of Unapu. Keep walking. We the human, we are doing the spirit of Unapu.
People who say that the gods made them from corn. They planned their lives according to the heavens. Well-versed in astronomy, using a sophisticated mathematics, they calculated the movements of the night sky thousands of years into the past and thousands of years into the future. They knew that the universe moved in cycles. Their lives were ruled by the rhythms of the natural world, planting and harvesting, birth and death, just as the great tree of life emerges from the earth.
Always they're connected. Science and religion.
In dreams, we learn from the Maya gods when to plant and when to harvest, when to set the fire, and when to do the corn ceremony.
What we're digging up, what we're coming up with is part of our history. And the men that lived here are some of the greatest men we've ever had. And it's a fact that we're getting to know more and more and more about the life of these people.
They still maintain their customs. They still maintain their ways of organizing their societies. And it's very exciting to see how much of the ancient Maya way of life is still alive and well.
Because American history does not begin in 1492 with Columbus. It begins in 200 BC with the first Maya king who wrote his name on a stone. What is happening now is the people who made these places, people like Yashpak or Bird Jaguar or Fakal, are getting back their voices. They are becoming real to us and speaking to the people of the 20th century about who built this place and why and what they felt and what they thought about the world. These are not anonymous people anymore.
You are the spirit of Unapu. Keep walking. We the human, we are doing the spirit of Unapu.
Oh ho. Hello, community. Here we are, Sunday, 4 o'clock, LA Natives. Yeah, here we go again.
LA
Armando.
Natives.
LA Natives. And then we had some good news this week because all of our merchandise came in.
Right.
Like, really, when you put the hat and that shirt together, that was the coolest thing I ever seen. Like, it was like what NWA used to do with like gangster rap.
Yeah.
You know when they wore that swap meet hat and that.
And you're talking about the LA Native shirt with the combination of the indigenous 1492 bucket hat.
Absolutely. Like, it got that when you did that, I was like, whoa, that reminds me of when Eazy-E came out and they had their little swap meet hat and that jacket and like everybody was rocking that shit. Like, that's the new movement.
Yeah.
That's the new movement.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the good news. We got our garments in. Now we're just waiting for our accessories to come in, and then by next week we're definitely gonna start shipping out.
And I'm gonna follow a little bit of my best friend's advice here, is to kind of introduce myself, introduce the show, or what? How many shows are we in?
This is, I believe, episode 8.
Episode 8. So for all of you that tuned in to the first couple of shows, just know that we just said one day we're gonna do it, and we did it. And look at the altar. It started off on the left, a small little altar. And your energy has grown it to this. Your energy has grown it to a full-blown altar with 3 committed individuals passing a message on to the community of Native people. So thank you very much. Congratulations, Armando and Jenny, on our 8th show. I mean, this has been 8 shows in a row.
And like I always try to remind people, it was kind of like a prototype podcast. It wasn't. It was like an experimental podcast.
But now we're here, right?
Right.
We're here, right? We're not going anywhere.
One thing led to another, and now we're going to be here every week.
Which is dope.
And we are talking, we're in the talks of possibly doing it twice a week.
Oh, you want to leak that information? I was going to save that information for
save that one to the last.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say, you know. I was about to say that, like, you know, let's save that little nugget, because we know that there's an active community out there. We know, whether it's small, I don't care if it's like 5 people or 12 people or 10 people. I mean, I just freestyle. We all freestyle our heart, our spirit, our intention, and that's what comes through. So, you know, my name is Zero. I'm a part of an LA hip hop underground group called El Vuh. We've put out 4 complete projects. We toured Mexico, Canada, and really our message at the time was a message of 2012 and this new understanding that we're living in now. It's a prelude to what I'm doing, or the evolution of my career into more of an interactive one, right? Because on Wednesdays, you know, well, we'll save that for last. I was going to get into, but no. Yeah, let's not do that. We have a cool guest today. So now you have a little background on me. Jennifer, you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Hi, everybody. My name is Jenny. I am Zero's partner. And welcome to LA Natives. Again, we are here every Sunday. Catch us every Sunday at 4 o'clock. And like they mentioned, you know, the intentions behind this podcast was strictly to provide a source of resources, a source of knowledge for the LA community, whether you call yourself Chicano, Chicana, Guatemalteca, Salvadorian, wherever you are from, just know that you're native to these lands, and we represent all of you guys. So my name is Jenny. I am a traditional partera, which is a traditional midwife, and I assist with women's health, and I am honored to be here and host the altar for you guys and be that ometeo balance in this altar.
Thank you very much for being here and being that committed soul to this cause.
Not to mention, we're also parents to 4 individuals, 4 children, you know, that are in their 20s. So we have the next generation behind us. You know?
Absolutely, with that intention, you know, it's, you know, you know, we also have to mention our humble sponsor, which is Malinali Superfoods.
Yes.
Malinali Superfoods. You can look us up on Instagram. We have the best aguas frescas. We sweeten with agave. A little plug. But you know, this is what LA Natives is. It's a resource center of information, clothing, knowledge
through music,
and opinions that matter, and that we as men have to learn to humble ourselves to a female's message. All females' messages, you know, because they have their own communication, their own process of thinking, and that's something that when you decolonize yourself, you'll find that's where the real struggle is. How much of the white man am I gonna let go? You know, am I gonna let go everything? Am I gonna let go his meats? Am I gonna let go his perspective on women? Am I gonna let go the perspective on land? You gotta decolonize yourself to your full potential, and know that that's not an easy road. Because for a long time, you know, we've been struggling, and it creates art. This kind of art, revolutionary, you know, which is our next guest, right? Our next guest is...
We have a very special guest.
He's dope. He's from Canada. I like him.
Looking forward to this conversation here.
Absolutely.
Because I think he provides a little bit of everything that we're talking about. You know, LA Natives is not just here to provide music. We're here to provide a message behind all of our cultures. And this next guest has so much knowledge and so much connections to Pachamama and Mother Earth, and you know, just check them out on YouTube and you'll see what we're talking about.
And Zero, I want to mention when it comes to the genre of indigenous hip hop,
absolutely,
he's on that list.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. I heard his track and it was pretty dope, revolutionary, and I can't wait to talk to him. Let's get into it, you know.
Let's go ahead and bring him in.
Hello, brother.
Hey, Gwe. How's everybody doing?
Okay. How's it over there? You're from Canada, right, brother?
Absolutely, man. I'm from the Far East. I'm I'm from the place they call the birthplace of Canada, Gaspésie. So
Oh.
that's where Jacques Cartier rolled in 1534, man. Met our people.
So you've been
Mi'kmaq.
fighting for a long time. The spirit.
A long time, man. For a long time.
That's what makes it fun, you know. That's what makes it fun is that you realize that you come from an area and that area, you know, when you connect to the tierra or the land or Mother Earth, and your spirit stays there, you know, and wants to protect it, you know, and wants to keep it there. And you obviously, when I look at you and when I've seen your videos and your message, obviously carry a warrior spirit of protection and understanding, you know, and I wanted to, you know, just comment that on your music. So everybody there in LA Natives, if you value my opinion, anybody that we bring on here to get interviewed has a special spirit, you know, a special connection. So talk about it a little bit, brother.
Well, I think it's knitted, you know, deep within us, just as the trees are planted and knitted into the earth, man. I think our people are the same way. We're a part of it, and our connection to the earth. I think that's what makes us such strong warriors. You know what I mean? We have a strong purpose. We have to be here. Our ancestors were here. We're going to be here. Next generation to generation to generation is going to be here, man. Hey, what up? I just got to give a shout out to my boy Willie Scandals.
Nice.
Mohawk territory.
Oh, welcome.
That Willie world. Yeah.
You know, really quickly, brother, we wanted to create a podcast that encompassed different regions of natives, right? Because we have our LA natives, right? We have our own little stilo and stuff, and reaching out to your community and what it's like over there. So we really kind of the matrix of information for natives to go, oh, wow, this is what they like over there. And so when we go there, because we're able to travel with planes and vehicles, and we go to your territory, we're familiar, you know, and we get that connection as well. So when we look at each other's face to face, we hug each other and embrace each other and go, that's my native from this territory. And when you come to LA, we go, this is the best taco spot. You know, it's like, so
yeah,
I mean,
we'll take you to the best Indian taco spots over here, man.
there you go. You see that? That's the community that we're trying to create. So please describe your area, describe your message.
Oh man, to describe my area. All right, picture this. It's the most beautiful place on the planet. If you want to see clear, pristine rivers flowing with wild Atlantic salmon jumping up that river, you want to see all the wild animals. We're rich. The Mi'kmaq people are rich in our territory, man. We had everything. You want to talk about, we had moose, caribou, bear, rabbits, all of the big game, small game, all of the fish, the vegetables, you know. We didn't farm on the East Coast. We didn't have to, right? We just followed the seasons and we rolled with them, you know. So, yeah, it's a beautiful place. Gaspégoagui is the district I'm from. That's our territory. It's what they call it Gaspésie now. Mi'kmaq is a big territory. Our nation is very big. We take up all of the Maritimes and Eastern Canada right down to Maine. So we have 7 districts that it's cut up into. We got like 28 different communities, reservations, they want to call them. And yeah, so it's we live in paradise.
Sounds like it.
That's amazing to have that.
That was an image. Whew.
I want to move out there right now.
Come on, let me take a breath.
Y'all are welcome to come on out.
I want to pack my
man. I'll
bags.
take you fishing. I'm going to give you the best time of your life. And I'm not giving it to you. The creator is. I'm just going to guide you to it.
And that's what I really like about him, Jenny, is that, you know, when I looked at your YouTube and I saw you describe the landscape, I've seen you make a sinew rope for a bow. And your description is very firm but connected. You know, it reminded me like of a uncle that was a strict uncle, but knew his shit. You know what I mean? Like that uncle knew his stuff. Like, not only did he know how to do it, but he knew the purpose behind it. I'm sure you know those stories on why we use the animals like in that way. You know, where we take their sinew and we use their bones and we use their skin and we eat their meat. Can you explain your people's perspective on that?
Yeah, it's really important. You know, if you want to hunt, you want to fish, you want to harvest and do those things, you have to do it with respect, and you have to respect those animals. You know, the hunting part, my least favorite part is having to take the life, right? Because it's something sacred. So whether it be a moose or a human, I don't make the difference. It's very, very sacred. Life is sacred. And so you have to learn how to do that with respect. Now, if you're going to take down an animal, it's for food, right? That's how we hunt. It's for food. And we honor that animal. We give thanks to that animal, and we give thanks to the creator for providing that animal. Now, to not use that animal for everything it has to offer is kind of disrespectful, you know? So our people had found all of these techniques in order to utilize these animals to, you know, to the maximum ability. There's very little left off of an animal. And usually what we have left over from an animal, we're using it to trap another animal, you know? So you keep this circle going, right? And so yeah, for me, it's really, really important to utilize an animal to its maximum for us to use. And you know, a lot of that is really important. Now, there's a lot of our culture and you know, the activities that we used to do, we lost a lot of it. And right now we're in that place where we're bringing it back into our lives, and we're teaching our children again. My father grew up and he was in the day schools. It's a residential school. And he wasn't allowed to do those things, you know? So I didn't learn these things from my father. I learned a lot of what I know now from the stories my father and my uncles told me. And so I went out and I just had to go out and relearn it. And I'm making sure, I got 5 boys, right? And I'm making sure that they're learning all of this stuff. So it's really, really important stuff. So being indigenous, you need to live indigenous, right? And you have to understand your history, and it can't be just about your history. We're not a people of the past. We're a people of right now. And there's no more important time in your life than right now. So we have to do those things, you know, we have to bring them back, and we have to put those teachings back into our youth. So they're going to put it into their youth. And, you know, it's really, really important to bring these things back. Keep them alive.
7 generations.
It's okay to drive around in your truck, right? Every society has that right to advance and evolve, but it doesn't mean we have to throw away everything that our ancestors left to us. You know?
Absolutely.
The balance of life is you know, is connecting with the past and embracing the present. Because raising kids, we have to stay in the present moment, you know, and we have to honor that our children are wanting to learn these ways, but at their patience, you know. So I really understand that, you know, it's still okay to drive our trucks, but still teach our children that indigenous ways.
Absolutely.
I mean, and what you said was like, you know, it's an embedded indigenous teaching to think about the future. So when you talk about teaching your children certain techniques that were of your original people, not only did you take them out of not only did you pull them out of a colonized situation, but you reinserted them to a power that the white man didn't have over us. They didn't have that. They don't have that power to take us away from our ancestors. They have power to kill our being. They have power to kill our physical essence. But the true masters know how to keep their form and come back and fight again. It's an endless battle with an idiotic philosophy of superiority. So death, the way you talk about it when you hunt and you're using every aspect of it, now changes perspective for me. Just the way you described it, like death was that deer, antelope, salmon, it was its time. Yeah. And it met its own creator to take it and transform it into whatever else it becomes, right? So that beautiful process, man, you really explained it.
Yeah, well, people have to understand that we're part of the circle, right? We don't dominate the circle. Just like the coyotes are chasing down the deer, or the lynx is chasing down the snowshoe hare. He's got to do this to survive, right? This is how he lives. This is how he eats. And we're part of that big picture too. We don't dominate it. We're just a part of it, right? We're able to think things differently than the rest of the animals. And that's our gift, right? But it's important that we utilize our ability to think, to do things properly, right? So, and respectfully.
Yeah,
and
that's the key. That's the key. When you do things in a respectful manner, like you just described, then there isn't a wasteful, abundant use of resource. Like when they killed all the buffalo off, right? Like they just did it just because they wanted the land, and there were these things were migrating over it, and it was going to mess up their plans. So there was no respect in that. There's no respect in slaughtering a cow and then having it sit in a refrigerator for a month and then go to a market and then eat it. I mean, it's very important to have that type of connection, because I think when you hunt in the way that you just described, in the way you do, you take an essence, a little bit of that spirit. It's still fresh inside that the matter that you just utilized, right? And
yeah, man.
I remember that the stories they tell me about hunting deer, where, you use a bow, you hit the deer, and then you run to that deer whenever you catch it, and it's in its last breath. You take it and you cover its nose, and you breathe in that last breath, so that now that you and that deer are now connected forever.
Yeah, and there's a lot of ceremonies like this, right? Just like with seal hunting, a lot of people think it's something brutal, but it's not. If you don't maintain a balance, we're put here to maintain a balance, right? Creator put us here knowing that we had the ability to think, and knowing that we have the ability to live the way we do. And we're here to maintain balance, right? So when you look at the seal population with the harp seal, its population is way, way too high right now. And that's because of all of these protection agencies. And I understand that you need to protect species on the planet. But the problem is if you protect them beyond the point of needing protection, is now they're a threat to other species, right? Because they need to eat. They're doing what they were programmed to do. So like codfish, they take the fall for that, so the populations of cod have dropped a lot because of the increase in population in seal. But so it's important to hunt, it's important to maintain a balance. But when we hunt seal and when we take that life from them, we give them a drink of water. And a lot of non-Indigenous people look at us funny when we're doing that, but that's because the last time a seal ever drank was from its mom. After that, it's living in salt water, and eating fish and surviving like that. So we send it off. Water's life, and we give it that last drink of water before it crosses over into the spirit world.
Taking them back home, correct?
Absolutely, doing it with respect.
That's so cool, because I have the pleasure of being with my partner who's a birth worker, and to hear that story, like, it's another level of understanding death, our inevitable road. We all meet that transformative space. So how our perspective is towards it. Your stories help. Your stories help and bring a good light to it.
Yeah, well, it comes down to the education system, right? We need to get more of our knowledge out there, and to educate the people around us. We often criticize the non-Indigenous people for their way of understanding the world. But I think that if they had the opportunity to gain some of the knowledge from us, allowing us to be more a part of their education system, they would do a lot better. They have a lot to gain from us. We have a lot to gain from our own, right? If we're going to find any reconciliation, if you want to use that word, if you want to move forward in a good positive impact on change, it's going to be through that system. And we live in a system, right? There's systemic racism, there's all this stuff going on. But one system that's in place that we can utilize to erase or eradicate systemic racism is the education system. So hopefully we can get more people, more warriors, because warriors in many, many shapes and forms, right? And educators, in my opinion, are strong warriors. And we need to get Indigenous content in these schools, right? In order to help them understand us.
I have an alternative perspective towards anything given by any colonial rule. They never think in our interest. We're less. So I don't want to maybe debate you, because that's not my point. You're my brother. I respect your opinion.
100%. Yep.
But I think the education that you do on your YouTube videos, man, that's like college compared to a colonial individual who's going to edit your perspective and, oh, we can't talk about spirituality. How are you going to interject spirituality in death? And, you know, let's face it, man. These individuals were given power by the Vatican to be arrogant over all indigenous people. That's the truth.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Any
I
structure,
agree with you 100%.
So any structure.
First treaty we signed was in 1610, the Mi'kmaq people with the Vatican. And
there you go. Like what? What the fuck is
the first treaty signed was with
that.
Mi'kmaq and the Vatican in 1610.
Think about that.
Wampum Belt is still over there. And so we have a really strong history with the French people who first came over. They're our first allies, of non-indigenous people.
Well, I mean, I know it's a mess, and I just want to clarify and reunify our message because
absolutely,
because I
agree with you 100%. My only point with the education system is the fact that there is a system there.
Yeah,
and we still have a long ways to go before that we're controlling the education process. But there's ways to utilize things that are in place to make it better. It's the same way that we would utilize a truck right now to get to our hunting grounds. We're going to hunt the way that we hunt, the way that we're educated to hunt. But we just need that vehicle to get there to educate those other people, right?
Absolutely.
And that vehicle is in place right now. So, you know, having that integration into a system that we all don't like, but to have ownership over it a little bit in order to be able to teach the things that we need to teach.
I mean, I agree with you 100%, brother. I agree with you 100%. If we were talking about someone who isn't narcissistic and psychopathic, like I think I would really kind of just go, yeah, you're right. You know, let's implement this in everyday schooling, because not only indigenous people will benefit from it, but white people and black people and Asian people who happen to be, because, you know, us on LA Natives, we coined something with Richie, the indigenous 1492 designer, and what we called it was global indigenous, right? Because in our understanding of being indigenous, there is no race. There is no racism. There's only knowledge. There's only knowledge, right? Yeah. So if I'm from the desert and I went up to Canada, you would be teaching me how to stay alive in that environment because it's cold. It has different things, right? And then when you came to the desert, I would show you how to find water in the desert. So this knowledge gets transferred and it becomes its own ecosystem, right? So no teacher fits in that.
Yeah.
No principle fits in that.
Our system is the best system. There's no doubt about it.
But I get your point. Yeah. And I'm on your side. I do. I want to go, oh yeah, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. But what was the benefit of the doubt? Let's write this treaty and break it because it's their kids that have to defend it. Let me repeat that. Let's write this treaty and break it because it's their children that have to defend it. And guess what? The children was 10, 11, 15, maximum 18, molested, displaced, and he had to defend a treaty, a legal document. Come on, those treaties are null and void. It was a contract. Once you break a contract, if I write a contract today and I break it, what happens? The contract becomes null and void. So they're on occupied land still.
Yep. Oh, absolutely. That's 100%, man. This is our place.
Absolutely.
You know, this is our land, and everyone here that wasn't here from the get-go are immigrants, right? Looking for a better life. And I think that our people were open enough to understand that. But they definitely took advantage of the situation along the way, right?
And I agree with you about education because, you know, everybody who's indigenous, they always go, we want the land back. Let's go get the land back. Like if they're going to go fucking file paperwork with the UN and the UN's going to back, you know what I mean? It's like a big mess. Yeah. But when you get the land back is exactly what you do with your YouTube videos. That's how you get the land back. You go, oh yeah, put me in the winter time in this forest and watch me still live.
Yep.
Right.
And that's the important thing. And I put those videos up like that because I think it's important. We need to indigenize our own lives. Being indigenous, we feel it, right? We know our spirits, we know it. We have an ancient connection, right? But we need to indigenize our lifestyle. I don't ever want to be in a situation where I'm a dog chasing a car, not knowing what the fuck to do with the car when I catch it, right?
Absolutely.
So being prepared, doing these things, knowing how to live the way your ancestors did is important right now. Because when we do catch that car, we're going to know how to fucking drive it.
Oh,
you know?
I agree with that. I love that, because, I saw you take these little pieces of sinew and make a bowstring out of it. I mean, they were small. It's not like it's like really long string cheese sinew where it's like all perfectly. He's like, no, you got to hammer it down. And he's like hammering for like 5 minutes. And he's all, see this little piece? I'm going to join it with this little piece. And it was like maybe 3 inches, but he spent like 20 minutes on that. I've exaggerated, but it takes time. It takes patience. It takes connection. It takes that sinew that you're putting together. You're putting that spirit of the deer behind that bow. So when you go hunt for your
brother
family,
and sister, I'm telling you, it's medicine right there. That is medicine while you're doing it. I'm telling you what, it is medicine. Everything I do is medicine. If I'm harvesting medicine, the whole process is medicine. I needed to go out that day. I needed to clear my mind. So my tracks in the snow, that was medicine, So the whole process is medicine. You have to absorb it like that. And that's how we heal and that's how we advance.
So, we live in the city. We hardly ever get that moment where we feel alone in a space me and my partner went to Arizona recently and we got that a little bit because we went on this really long hike to nowhere. But when you get that experience, I want you to explain the oneness with that experience so that we can take ourselves in the mind here at the city to one day want that experience for ourselves. What is it like to be at one like that, to just know that when you said, when I look back and I see my snow tracks, that's medicine. What did that mean? The solitude, the connection, what does that mean?
Well, we're on a hip hop show right now, right? And our whole culture is so mirrored to the hip hop culture, right? So when we're out there walking, if I got my snowshoes and I'm going on the land, I hear a beat, because I can feel my shoes hitting the snow and I can hear the crunch and there's all these extra sound bites that are going on at the same time, right? So, and then all of a sudden you get consumed by it. And suddenly everything else doesn't exist anymore, So now you're alone with your thoughts, but you're never alone. It feels like you're talking to somebody in person, right? But it's that connection to the land. You'd be all by yourself and then you'd be just walking through there. All of a sudden you're feeling a beat and all of a sudden you're breathing better. You're breathing the way you're supposed to, you can feel it going through your belly, not just your lungs, There's all of these things that happen. You start touching the trees. You start, even if you touch a tree by accident because you stumbled over a little bit, when you do that, man, you're connecting. And there's all of these little things. And then suddenly, and always bring your tobacco pouch. You got to have a tobacco pouch with you, man. If you're going to take something from the land, you got to give something back. So whether it be a fiddlehead or whether it be a moose, you treat the land with the same respect and you give an offering. This medicine is so incredible. It clears your spirit, clears your thoughts. This is how you eliminate the negativity and the toxins in your mind. Forget about the toxins in your blood or the toxins, floating around from that cheeseburger you ate. Okay. We're talking about the toxic in your mind. It clears it. This is what happens.
Wow.
And you just become more connected.
That is exactly what I experienced, but spoken through your words. Really, because it's not very often that you find yourself. I'm not talking about going with your partner on a hike with a lot of people around. I'm talking about just one day deciding I'm going to go very far into the mountain and take a walk by myself. You start to feel this anxiety, right? I felt it, like this anxiety, but then it kicked into what you were just saying. The oneness. Man. Wait.
It's real stuff. It's real medicine. It's real
not
medicine, man. The earth is medicine.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you for that description because, it really kind of, how when you hear something from someone else and it kind of just confirms what you were feeling?
For sure.
I obviously feel that one. I feel that all the time. I try to train myself to just, even walking in a city, their power, their concrete, their bullshit law, their fucking protectors of garbage. I still try to connect to that essence that the great mystery brings us, right? Like that bird. I'll be walking and I see a hummingbird. I'll be walking in my neighborhood and I'll see a hawk. I'll be walking in my yard and I'll see my beautiful wife. That's connection. That's medicine.
Absolutely, man.
So thank you, bro. I mean, I love your message, bro. I love what you do. I love your spirit. You want to talk a little bit about your music?
Yeah, how do you incorporate all that connection with nature into hip hop music?
That's part of it, man. That's what my music is. You know, that music platform is just a translation of exactly how I think and of exactly how I feel when I'm out there, you know? And, you know, a lot of my music is about the protection of whether it be murdered and missing Indigenous women, whether it be, you know, residential school survivors, or whether it be the land itself, and the water, and the need to protect it, you know, the need to fight off these colonial fuckers, you know? There's, that's going in through the music. It's right there. For me, writing in poetry, I just don't feel there's any way to express yourself more honestly than with poetry, you know? I think the only thing more honest than that is love, right? And it's probably why there's such a big connection between Valentine's Day and poetry, you know what I mean? But so for me, writing is just a way to be honest about it. It's how I'm feeling it. And the music is just a platform in order to, you know, to bring that. It's a battlefield, right? It's a battlefield, and our warriors need to learn to fight from every angle. So if you're on the front lines, you know, protecting water, if you're at the political level, if you got a microphone, use it. Use it to fight. That's what we need.
Yeah, it's totally what we need. You know, we need to share our spirit. We need to share our voice in a humble, respectful way. You know, I stand up just as much as you do. And sometimes I get aggravated with our situation, right? Because we're survivors of genocide. You got to remember, we're survivors of genocide. This is not, this is like, you know what? You know how you feel bad about the Jewish people who survived genocide from Hitler? Well, feel 100,000 times worse for us, because we went through 500 years of that. It didn't stop at the UN didn't form and give us a country, you know. It's like, and I don't mean to be controversial, I just mean to be right. And we're going to get more into this, you know, on our new show, but I just want to give you props for standing up like a warrior and saying your piece, but know that we have this gentle heart to us.
Absolutely, man.
That warrior that's carrying his protection, his medicine, also carries his baby.
Yep.
Also raises and connects with his children. That's the essence of being Indigenous. Not being afraid to die for your creation, your little one, right? You got 5 boys. I'm sure you know that connection that I'm talking about.
Yeah, well, and I think in our Indigenous people, I think our values come from love, right? I believe that is that is really the nucleus of our whole belief system, right? Everything that's in place right now is paternalistic. You know, it's not the way we lived before. You know, our women ran the show, and
a lot of it, they still do.
Yeah, they still do, man. They still do. But you know, so love is always that thing. Love is the thing that makes us get up and defend our homes, right? You know, love is the thing that makes us fucking angry enough to go out there and want to fight. That's because we potentially going to lose something we love, right? So I love my planet. I love my rivers. I love what I'm doing out on the land. Now, if you're going to threaten that, you got a fucking problem, you know? You got a real problem, and I'm coming at you with full force.
It's funny because it comes
from love.
You know, it sounds exactly what it's like to grow up in the barrio in East Los Angeles, where, you know, you have an older brother and you're the, you know, the kid that kind of hangs around, and if you mess with the little guy, man, you fucking gonna get some shit, you know. And like, you're the little brother for the forest, right? Like, hey, motherfucker, you're gonna get some shit. Watch me. Watch me do some shit. So anyways, Armando kind of
Quentin, have you ever, you know, sometime in your life considered maybe moving into like a big city like New York or Los Angeles? Like, was there ever a point where you're like, look, you know, as a hip hop artist, as you know, a lot of hip hop artists move out here to the West Coast to try to test out the waters, right? Have you ever came across that situation?
Right now, I'm living outside of Montreal. Right now, as we speak, I'm in Sherbrooke, which is an hour and a half from Montreal City. I'm from the East Coast, but my kids, they play music and they do all kinds of different arts that aren't available where I am in the Gaspésie. Okay, it's really secluded, and there's the population is not there to support all of these different activities. So you got to move towards the cities to do those things. So yeah, and my mom is Irish American, right? So that Boston area, I've lived around that too. Nashua, New Hampshire, had the highest population of indigenous people in one area in the entire United States for like 20 years because of the economy, right? And also over here, the Mi'kmaq, just like the Mohawk, we have dual citizenship. So we cross that imaginary border as we please, and we go and work where we want, right? So that was a place where the economy was high. So yeah, I've been around the cities a lot. Love New York City. It's a beautiful city, and it's got a different vibe. When you put your feet on the ground there, it's different. There's a different vibe to that ground. I felt it the first time I ever set foot over there.
It just hearing your stories makes me feel real guilty.
Why?
Being from LA, I don't know. It's like a full blown concrete jungle out here.
I mean,
I've never been.
It's I was lucky with El Vuh.
Am I right? Zero is like a full blown concrete jungle out here.
I kind of know where you're coming from, because growing up in East Los Angeles, like I said, the description of the forest walk that you have in isolation.
Look at the background. That's LA for you.
That's LA, yeah. Some guy doing donuts outside. But I know what you mean, Armando. We don't grow up in isolation. We grow up with, when we go to a big park, we feel like we're in the forest, but it's just a big park with families and people bringing in groceries. You know what I mean? It's not a natural experience.
Yeah.
It's just like for me, Zero, like growing up, as soon as you hit the schools out here, you're stuck in the Matrix.
Yeah.
Matrix.
Well,
buy this, like this, watch these cartoons. Here.
Yeah.
Like for Quentin, like he has the opportunity to kind of stray away from the norm, if you know what I mean. Like, especially raising kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So for me, it's just like we were immediately part of this LA Matrix here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, like I said, the closest we get is like a camp that you finally get to go to, like when you're like 17, you go, whoa, I went to Malibu Canyon, and it was
La Brea Tar Pits.
Yeah. I really feel for all of my indigenous folks who are living in those cities, right? And maybe haven't experienced, nature the way we have, who grew up basically in the forest, right?
Right.
But it's, I have a lot of respect for what you're doing right now, what you're doing with this podcast. You've created a community that's amazing, right? And you have a place for indigenous people to congregate, to come together,
to
right?
be themselves, really to be themselves, to say what
Yeah.
they need to say, and no judgment. Like we had Mike Bone, who was Christian, and I completely look. I'm not. Who am I to say anything to that? I know what I learned, and my red road started 22 years ago.
Okay.
So, and see, I was still 18. I went through a whole life cycle of trying to find out what I was. But when I went into the Sweat Lodge, that changed everything. It was like, boom, here you go, here you are. What are you gonna do with it? How are you gonna do with it? And guess what? You don't get no help. Your help is your will to do it.
Yep.
That's your help.
Yeah.
So
that's the one thing with the reservations, they threw us in there hoping that we would just die off, right? And they could control every aspect of our lives. And they tried to control it to a point where we couldn't speak, we couldn't do anything that we traditionally did. But it actually gave us a place where we could keep those things and protect them, almost like a safe. Right. So we were able to do it quietly. We had to, safeguard because you get thrown in jail for speaking your language or beat the fuck up. Right. So there's all of these things going on. But what it did do in one aspect is it gave us a place to still speak our language and still, whisper about the old ways and still do those things. You know what I mean? So we still, that's why we call them communities now. We don't use, we use res, but we use that, just in a way to, sort of act out about the reservation systems, right? But
yeah, because it's weird how we from the city, when we go, oh, I went to the res. Oh, you went to nature? Oh, that place that's like, where the natives live and it's all peaceful and they don't realize that it was a concentration camp, right? Like it's a concentration camp, but man, them fuckers didn't die. They fucking had babies and and then they had babies. Well, let's go fucking take their babies and put them into boarding schools and it's
fucked.
You cannot. Can we make it clear, Quentin Condo, to white people, and let's describe what white people are. People who don't respect the earth, don't respect the water, don't respect the fire, and don't respect the air. That's a white person. Someone who thinks they're better than someone else just because of their color of their skins or the color of their eyes. A white person is anyone who takes the Vatican racist white supremacist doctrine called manifest destiny or doctrine of discovery. That's a white person.
Yeah, man. Yeah, they got a fucking severe superiority complex, man.
Yeah,
that's for fucking
sure.
But,
with our podcast, it's a place where you can be yourself and you can say these things, right? We can say these things.
Yeah, and I think it's great. And but
what do you think, Wando? Can we say
you're creating this fucking community?
And this is why we made this podcast. It's a dope indigenous hip hop podcast and more.
And I say that very humbly. Right? Like,
I heard you guys are making a song together, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, he sent me a beat. Okay. I wrote most of my verse. It's just about recording it now. But yeah, I would love to collaborate with you and share my poetry with you because obviously you never stop being.
As soon as I can get out to fucking LA, that's where I'm going, man. Right now the restrictions are so crazy with this COVID stuff, but
we could also do it through
You've never been to LA.
I've never been to LA. That's the thing is I want to get out there. I didn't even write a verse on it because I want to wait till I get there and I feel it.
Oh, nice.
I need to feel things before I start writing. Like I was saying, for me, that's my process. I need to feel.
That is beautiful.
I need to feel it.
Wow. Well, I wrote mine, so
that's cool.
It's ready to go. So. And definitely, yeah, we're working on a track and that's I want to create this. If I could compare it to anything like a ghost dance, right? Like if it were to be a ghost dance, but ghost dance was more spiritual and it had a spiritual leader and that kind of a thing. I want to create this community called LA Natives that have brave warriors that are willing to be humble, like real warriors, not warriors that just want to be tough and militant, that and then go, oh yeah, I want to follow a general or anybody that calls anybody uses colonial examples, you're in the wrong space, bro. Like you can't transform a rapist thief into a good guy. You can't use their uniform and go, I'm a good, when a police officer, not all of them are bad, blah blah blah. But when you put on their uniform, you're putting on a uniform that says, this guy owns this land and I have this gun that if you try to step on it for this guy back here who doesn't know my family, he kind of contributes to a tax thing, but I'm going to protect this land for this guy I don't know with my life. Yeah. That's what happens when you put on a uniform.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Man. Yeah. You have to uphold laws that don't fucking make any sense. They're not laws designed to fucking help us. That's for sure.
Wow. I mean, so that's where we're at. And I want to create that space where you could say that, and still not look crazy and still not go, oh, that guy's a militant. He wants to burn it all down. You're going to burn it down yourself. I don't have to do shit. You're going to burn it down yourself and it's okay. Cause I know how to live with the land. I know how to connect with it. I know how to build a temescal. I know how to make a family with my partner. I'm gonna be fine. LA Natives, we are gonna be fine.
Hell yeah.
So Quentin, back when you were in high school or 18, 19, what was in your CD case? You know what I'm saying?
I think like everyone else when I was listening to a lot of the old stuff like KRS-One, Ice-T, Ice Cube, NWA, all of these guys, I love them, right? So it's just great music. So I listened to that a lot of it. But KRS-One was definitely someone who.
It was cool. I played with KRS-One
in my head.
I played with KRS-One at the Roxy.
Nice, man.
Man, I have a crazy. You want to hear a KRS-One story? Can I share a KRS-One?
Yes.
Hell yeah, do it.
Here's a KRS-One story. I love the guy. He's great. Cool guy. Really cool guy. Gave us props after the show. Anyways, we're there. The manager comes in, says, knock, knock. Hey, KRS-One. seize your dancers. Because we had like a bunch of Aztec dancers. We had about 20 Aztec dancers, and they're all lined up on the hallway. And so Chris comes in and goes, oh shit, what the fuck? Who's this? You know, who's going to play before? Who's going to open up for us? In El Vuh, right? El Vuh. So the manager goes up and check this out, Armando. He says, KRS-One will find honor if you let him use your dancers and you play another night.
Damn.
You hear that?
Did you hear that?
Wow.
I'm not dissing him, hey, because at the end of the show, we did our thing, and he was like, oh my God, you guys are the dopest, and I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that shit. But, you know, hip-hop comes with an ego. Anyways, my manager says, we have a written contract with you that says 15 minutes in front of KRS-One opening act. And so the manager tripped out and said, but Chris is going to take you on tour with him if you let him use your dancers. And my manager just goes, but I have a contract that says opening act, 15 minutes, KRS-One. And he's what my manager was trying to tell him is that he didn't sign a contract with him. We signed a contract with Roxy to open up. So you can't take our dancers. You can't use our dancers. You can't do any of that stuff, Chris. Right. El Vuh uses these dancers as a part of their show.
Yeah.
So we do the show. He comes backstage and just says, all of your lyrics, man, there's something I would have written.
Wow.
That's so let me tell you, I'm saying it because he's vintage. He's vintage Bronx, you know, he's vintage hip hop.
Well, you know, maybe because he's a conscious rapper and you're a conscious rapper.
Yeah, and that's what I really appreciate.
So Quentin Condo, you're like, my lyrics are right up. You know, it's like, come on, dude. I'm not dissing KRS-One. I love him. Yeah, he's very beautiful. He's a beautiful man. Like, I'm not saying that. It's just that hip hop bravado that I'm talking about. When you go, even though you go, oh, I'm gonna play with this conscious brother, and we're gonna be, what do they call it, kumbayaing right here, you know, for the people. No, there's a competition, and always in hip hop, but a healthy competition, a good competition, and a story that I get to share with LA natives, right? Anyways, so I'm glad that you like Chris. Chris was a big influence in my life and in my hip hop career, you know, developing craft. And I got to meet him several times, you know. That wasn't the only time I got to meet KRS-One, but I'm glad that we have similar interests, and I could see that because your message is powerful, brother.
Thank you.
You have a strong, you could see that the conviction behind your words has no fear. You know,
we can't be afraid, right?
Yeah. Well, we could be afraid, but that's not paralyzed to it. You know, the fear. You know, every buck that you're trying to get is scared. That's why it's running so fast. You know, it's using all of its power to get away from you, but it's using fear to get away. Mm-hmm. You know, it's not using fear to be paralyzed and easily eaten.
Right. Yeah, we're using our fear to come straight at you.
Exactly. That's exactly what I meant. Like a unapologetic.
Yeah, because
representation.
There's so much shit. You know, I don't think you guys hear really about all of the fucking bullshit that happens in Canada.
We don't.
You know, everybody went apeshit when they seen you know, the police allowing these guys to go right into you know, into Capitol Hill when it was just a few days ago, right?
Right.
So everybody was like, "Oh my God, the police were just watching them go in and whatnot." Well, fuck, over here just a few months ago, you know, that clip you're showing right now is All Eyes on Mi'kmaq, and that was about our territory and about the RCMP, which is like your version of the FBI, and all these police forces just watching these non-indigenous people go in with their boats and just chasing down the indigenous fishermen, taking their traps, stealing their shit, burning their stuff, tried to burn some indigenous people inside of a lobster place that they were storing their lobster. They were doing all of this craziness, and the police force was just sitting back watching, you know. So this ain't fucking new to us. In a few months, I mean, at the start of the pandemic and into the first 3 months of the pandemic, there was 0 indigenous people in Canada who had died from COVID-19. But there was 9 indigenous individuals who were shot by police, you know? So the police remain the biggest problem for us. We ain't afraid of pandemic. We're afraid of the police.
Well, I mean, that goes to show exactly what I meant. When you put on a uniform, when you put on any uniform given to you by a colonial representation, anything that has a star, or they have that little Roman dummy in there or something like that, it represents the reason there's Roman imagery in those type of uniforms is because it comes from the doctrine that the Pope wrote in 1493 that gave permission to anybody to cross the ocean, and if you found somebody who wasn't in the light of the Vatican or the Roman Catholic Church, well, then they were less.
Yep.
And we could take your land, we could take your wife, we could murder your kids, we could kill your grandpa, we could take all your wisdom and not give you anything because you're less. That's the doctrine of discovery. That's manifest destiny. That's all the colonial rules that they put on Turtle Island. But thieves and liars will eventually fall. Mother Earth will eat them all.
Absolutely. Doing it right now.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Hey, man, you want to share something with our audience? You want to share a little acapella?
Sure, man.
Share something with them. Share them what you write. Share them your message. Show them your message. I'll join in.
Yeah, I'll put down there's it's like a slam, right, of it's sort of like attacking the government. It's just the shit that we're talking about right now, about our territory and the reservations and their developments and all that stuff, all that garbage.
Do it.
So I can put a slam onto that.
Put it on.
All right.
Let's hear it.
Cool. So try to understand where I'm coming from. Reserved lands for my nation in the swamp. A slow death of a dying breed. On tough lands for us to grow our seed. Been ignored for way too long, while the government got to sing their song, a national anthem that celebrates the reasons that are wrong. For me to take a knee and protest your hypocrisy, unfulfilled contracts signed with me, from the beginning to eternity, a better life for my kids to see. The day we're treated properly or equally, terrified by your punishment of your bullshit government, band council settlements, land claim embezzlements, while we're considered irrelevant to profit your establishments, my people caged in imprisonments for protecting environment. And you'll be sorry when that money's spent from your resource development. You paved a long road of damnation. Destruction is your occupation. Long pipes of penetration into the lands of the First Nation. And we are not complacent. And we won't tolerate your violations. We ran out of patience. Respect your obligations to consult and accommodation. Violent implications without allowing you liberation from a standoff altercation, continual preparations to end your environmental occupation.
Oh, pretty dope.
Damn, that was dope.
All right, Quentin, I gotta share one now because
cool,
you just like inspired me, bro. It's not my fault I was born with this brown face. It's not my fault that my ancestors didn't understand your concept of race. Dislike a man just because of his tan. Now it's illegal and banned to want to live on your own land. They strip away our children just to plant the seeds of fear in them. U.S.-sponsored terrorism with the force of a Gestapo. No heart like a narco. Black hearts like a lump of coal. Waving your American flag, all angry and mad as ICE takes away an immigrant dad. This whole world's turning into Palestine. Desensitizing the mind, keeping the masses in a loop of time while the rich elites get away with the crimes against humanity. With arrogance and vanity. This is insanity. Genocide is at the border. This is law and murder by executive order. Shoot to kill like they do all the animals. Beat down the activists and the radicals. These will teach them to even question the rule of law. But thieves and liars will eventually fall. Mother Earth will eat them all and spit them out as flowers again. Into the infinite we spin, too complex to comprehend, swallowed by my mama Tonantzin, where all life ends. Quentin Condo, Zero El Vuh. What do you think?
Dope.
That was fun, man.
We got to start. We got to.
You guys definitely need to record that track.
Yeah, I mean,
we're gonna do something fun, man.
Dude, it's gonna be fun to come down and share some time with you in the studio. and really put together an intention that there really is really for the community of LA natives, right? The healing space that we're creating here, you know?
And I really appreciate your wise words about the podcast, right? Like,
yeah.
It means a lot to us, Zero.
Yeah, man. Your hunting techniques that you're sharing, the intimate connections that you have with Mother Earth and the animals around you, you know, and giving water to that seal before you take its life and returning it to its infinite journey.
Now, I've never had seal.
No, really?
You guys eat seal?
I didn't even know. Taste.
Yeah? What does it taste like? Does it taste like chicken?
No, man. You guys like liver?
Yeah.
Y'all eat liver?
Like that? I mean, I used to when I was a kid.
It's like liver times 10, dude. Oh. It's really, really, it is
acquired
intense.
then, I guess.
It's a good, like, over charcoal, like barbecue style, or?
Yeah, you can barbecue it. You can boil it up.
How do you usually prepare it? Like,
I prefer it in a barbecue, man.
Yeah.
I prefer to do a barbecue, throw in some sauce, you know.
So Zero, what's the equivalent to that for the LA delicacy? Like over there, they have seal.
We have carne asada.
No, that is nowhere near the same.
We have ceviche.
Ceviche.
Birria.
Menudo. We got menudo. Pozole.
You see how disconnected we are out here?
Super disconnected.
It's different. For us, our main source of food is salmon, right?
Yeah.
For us, every Mi'kmaq community is near a salmon river where we love Atlantic salmon, dude. And I cook that the traditional way in a log.
Right. Yeah, so Jenny just pointed out that we are connected to certain things. It's called frijoles. And that's right. Because when you're poor, think about I'm gonna tell you a little story about beans that I know. You know they call us beaners, right? Okay. Beans are a poor food that you have to mix with lard to get enough calories so you can just survive off of those beans. Okay. You have to cook it with lard. People think like, oh, Mexicans, they love to cook with lard. No, we're poor and we need to get the fat into our system. And this is 79 cents. And if I put this with my beans, I can give my kids enough fat to survive.
And you're absolutely right, because it's only the really good Mexican restaurants that use lard to cook their beans.
Absolutely, because it's a survival technique. Yeah. It's a survival. Menudo is another one. Menudo was the cowboys leftover of the pig or leftover of the thing, and then they gave it to us, and then our mom said, "Okay, well, let's just boil it. Let's clean it really good, boil it, and put chili and tomato."
Which, if people don't know, menudo's made out of stomach.
So
stomach of a cow.
It's like, lobster was a poor man's food, right?
No, we did not know that.
Man, this was the fucking trash, dude. We ate it, jog edge, man. We fucking hunted that. We fished that, throughout time. So it was very accessible. It was easy to go and grab, and it was like poor man's food. It was the trash. It was the spam of the time, right?
Now
and
it's
then
$23 a pound.
Europeans came in and they started liking this stuff. So then they upped the price and made an industry out of it. But it used to be poor man's food.
Now it's $23 a pound, right? Like,
I know, it's fucking crazy. Now the white folks willing to kill native for lobster, right?
Yeah. See,
look, Zero. When he lands at LA, you need to take him to the best Mexican restaurants out here.
Oh, I'm gonna do better. I'm gonna do better than that, Quentin.
Home. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna tell you. That's exactly what I was gonna tell him. Jenny is like, we're plant based. We are a plant based thing, but I know how to cook meats. My kids eat meat still, but we went plant based because we have an ancient diet. We use a lot of mineral in our diet. We're high dense mineral diet, because we don't have abundant forests with deer, and that's not our lifestyle out here. We are privileged enough to understand and be in a mega place where things get shipped to, right? LA gets everything. Clothing, food, designer food, whatever it is, we get it. So being from here, I have to cook for you. You come to my house and I'll cook you a plant-based and I'll cook you a meat-based meal, a regular meal. But I think that's probably going to be the best place he gets a meal at.
Right.
But we'll have to take him to B&J's or some sort of ghetto stuff that we do around here. You know, the bean and
Definitely.
cheeses.
Y'all got to come down to the East Coast sometime too.
Absolutely.
Come
You know, we
over
have
here,
plans.
you know, and I'll take you guys out, do some fishing. You know, I got a fishing lodge, right? That's I got a
Oh,
fishing camp on the Cascapedia River, which is the #1 Atlantic salmon fishing river in North America.
that'd be dope.
It's #2 in the world. Our salmon get up to 50 pounds, you know.
Wow.
Massive. So,
Wow.
yeah, you need to come on out here. I'll take you out and connect. Get out in the water, do some fly fishing, pulling some salmon, some trout, do a canoe run. You'll feel the beat.
And you know what's funny? My body right now is telling me to do that.
Yeah. Because it sounds
just sent
dope.
chills down my spine because it's like out here in LA, I kind of feel guilty, you know?
Well, now we're gonna put you on a permanent camp. Where as soon as we get these locations where we can go, we got to go take you, Armando, because we got to heal you up there. I was able to travel
when this pandemic hit and everybody had to, you know, stay locked up or stay away from, you know, people in groups. Last March, man, I was like, fuck yeah. Couldn't wait. Couldn't wait. Everyone was freaking out, and I was like, this is going to be the fucking best time. I've been waiting for this shit to happen. You know, so I was able to press pause on all the fucking bullshit. Me and my kids were out on the land every day, man, doing something else. So it was great. It's so good to connect. It's best medicine, dude.
Right.
That's a great.
But I also want to clarify too, real quickly. Just because I'm plant-based doesn't mean I wouldn't eat salmon that was offered to me in your land, or deer, or anything else like that, because I'm not vegan. I'm just, I choose high mineral diet. I intermittent fast. I only eat once a day. Most of my diet is liquid, and my partner's diet is liquid. But you were gonna say something, baby?
I was going to say about the pandemic. I took it the exact same way as a parent. You know, I think when you look at it in the opposite way, you look at it and like, wow, now my children are home with me, and now I get to teach them anything I want to teach them. So yeah, we took our kids to nature, and we're like, Tuesdays is river day. On Thursday, we go to the beach. On Saturday, we do this. And they're like, what is this? We're like, this is your new school, you know, because again, we do have to take that back and take it back into our own hands and educate the way that we need to educate our children for that.
Absolutely.
Oh,
100%. And you know, just on our territory, even if you're plant-based, you're fine. You come over in the springtime to the summer, man, we're gonna be eating fiddleheads. There's wild carrots everywhere.
Nice.
I look, if it's on the ground, I'm gonna identify it. I'll show you
that's what I love about you, man. You know the medicine, man. You know the medicine.
Man, I'm telling you, I know where to eat. I like to eat. So,
I mean, eventually in a big picture, Quentin, I mean, it would be cool to like get some kids from Los Angeles if we can raise enough money with our donations and our shirt sales and take a couple kids out there, you know, some inner city kids, and really connect them to the salmon and connect them to that kind of outreach is what we want to do with LA Natives, right? We want to do that kind of thing.
Yeah, just have them, you know, catch some salmon.
Yeah.
You know,
I think that'd be great, man. That'd be so cool. It'd be a great cultural exchange. And, you know, our people have been exchanging with people from the West for a long time. There's a place called Panui in the Gaspé Sea. It's where the Mi'kmaq used to get their rocks for the arrowheads, right? All the stones. And you can find those stones that come from Panui in Arizona and whatnot, because we were doing so much exchange, right, back in the day, that our stones were sought after by the people in the West, right? So they would trade that item all the way back over there. So a lot of your arrowheads that you're gonna find over there come from my land.
Oh, that's cool, man.
And to expose these kids from LA that, you know, not to hunt for trophy. That's like the stereotype that you know everything's, you know, about, right? Hunting for a trophy.
Yeah.
But in his case, you know, you're gonna be hunting for a good cause, for the balance.
Yeah.
You know, and
Connection.
then use the remains to catch other hunt.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
You make all kinds of stuff with them. Hold on just a second. I'm gonna get out of the screen for a minute. But
I mean, that's the type of outreach that.
Am I right? Kids will be shocked, bro. These kids from LA, they'll just be like, "Oh my god."
The plane ride, everything, you know, just cover it.
You use everything. See that bone right there? These are leg bones from a moose.
Whoa, what the?
You know, so you make a knife.
Whoa.
You know, there's all kinds of stuff we do.
Down to the leg bone.
I'm telling you, bro,
You made a case.
That is dope.
He made a case.
Yeah,
Quentin
it's a
Condo.
handle and a case right there. So there's
And
so
he
much
can rap,
art.
and he can rap, and he has dope poetry.
I think our people are artists in and out, right? So we make everything art. And put something in front of an indigenous person, man, we're gonna fucking paint it, we're gonna carve it, we're gonna braid it, we're gonna do something to it, but it's gonna look pretty by the time we're fucking finished with it.
And then you know the phrase, you know, adapting to your environment. That's what I get from Quentin. You know, like he's absolutely 100% adapted to the environment that he believes in.
Even popular culture, because he's adapting his hip hop to fit a message that comes from his territory, comes from his people, comes from his defense. I know that flag in that video, the West Coast Warrior Society.
Yeah,
they were instrumental with us going to Canada, Peace and Dignity run. I mean,
our people hold together, man. That's one thing that we got over any other nation. You fuck with one of us, you better be willing to fuck with all of us.
LA natives, my friends.
Even if we had beef with each other, we're gonna put that down for now.
Absolutely.
You know, so
we'll pick it up later.
Yeah, so
we'll pick it up later.
We'll pick it up. We'll play a game of fucking lacrosse or something. Fucking settle that, right?
Absolutely, man. I mean, just know that we don't expect everyone on LA Natives to agree with everybody's perspective and because there's some really militant motherfuckers out there. There's really militant. They don't even want. They want to call. They don't want to. They want. We're soft when we say white people.
They're like rappers, podcasts. No way.
Yeah. So it's like we're trying to do something that's interesting, informative, humble, respectful, but firm. Like you ain't gonna push us around anymore. This isn't the time where you can be racist and we're gonna be like, oh wait, we're gonna stay quiet.
And at the same time, like how I always mentioned, like, and this maybe for Quentin as well, like I'm sure you've stumbled upon kids that were always listening to like hardcore rap or, you know, rap that they, you know, apparently, you know, it's labeled a certain way. And then Quentin, like, there's probably a kid that went up to you, was like, look, dude, like you're dope. And at the same time, I learned a lot from you.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's how I use the mic, right? So for me, it's all about educating, right? Educating people of what's going on, the issues that are at hand. I get a lot of flack from the fucking police too. The police don't like me over here, that's for sure. You know, I was politically involved before. You know, my father was Grand Chief. I was an elected member in council. I was chief counselor. I've sat at the table with all the chiefs in the province. I've in the whole country. You know, so I've been involved with a lot of indigenous issues right across the board over here, and they keep a close eye out for you when you're loud. And I was loud, and I continue to be loud. So the police are always, you know, jumping on your ass. But I want people to understand that that's the normal way to react. This is how we have to educate people, that we have to confront all of these issues all the time. So that's how I use the microphone, right? So if we're talking about the, you know, the abuse of the system with the police, well, I'm going to put that in a song, even if they're going to be knocking on my door or they're going to be bothering me more and more. Our youth, I'm hoping that they pick that up more and more, right? Use that microphone as a fucking weapon, you know? And because we need to do that. We need to take it to that platform. We need to take it through music too. Go ahead and have fun with the mic. That's for sure. You know, there's a lot of hip hop artists in my community alone in Giskabigia, where I'm from. And there's,
well, we might have to go tour over there. We might have to go tour over there, do a concert over there or something. Yeah, let's do that.
Man, have you seen all of the hip hop artists in the Micmac scene? In the Mi'kmaq?
No, I haven't.
There's so many. You know, do you know David Strickland?
Yes, I actually do.
You do?
Okay, well, David's a Mi'kmaq as well.
He's the one with that dope logo, right?
Fuck yeah, yeah. He's worked with,
if
like,
you know what I'm talking
Murray,
about.
Method Man, with
right.
a whole bunch of people, right?
And these are all like quote unquote conscious indigenous hip hop artists.
For the most part, right? Not everybody, but there's always a few songs where there's a message in there. There's Shit from the 902. There's, you know, B&E, City Natives. There's such a huge Mi'kmaq scene alone. You know, it's we're 28 communities, and there's got to be 4 or 5 rappers in each fucking community. You know,
which is cool.
Unreal.
That's cool.
In my community. There's a rapper in my community that I'm telling you is a fucking superstar.
Nice.
His name's Draven Bernard. And I'm saying his name right now, but I'm telling you, he's amazing. He's amazing.
Shout out
to that, brother. Better than anybody I know. And yeah, he's got it all, man. It's really
shout out to that brother. Shout out to all the rappers that are out there in your territory, in your community. Know that, you know, as LA Natives grow, we're gonna have outlets for you guys and you know, future shows in Los Angeles, because they can't keep us down forever. You know, it's like at some point, the creator is going to do something massively drastic, and things are going to go shifting back to the way they need. They're already shifting.
They're already shifting.
Yeah,
it's already
I believe
happened.
they are. And I think what, one of the special things that your show is offering is you're offering a platform for Indigenous artists all over Turtle Island to be able to come up and connect with each other and find a way to support each other and create that community of Indigenous hip hop, right? And really, without, getting into the ego part of things, like you were saying, because hip hop is competitive, right? And but I think what you're doing is creating a spot where we can all connect and say, all right, we're in the same battle together, man. We're in this war, we're a community, and we're moving forward with like this, right? So I think that's fucking awesome.
Well, I mean, when the idea came to our mind, Armando, he already had an underground hip hop blog, and so that sparked an idea. He told me, "Hey, Zero, like, where's the Indigenous kind of like? Is that a real thing, Indigenous hip hop?" And I go, "Well, there's hip hop with an Indigenous rapper, but there's no Indigenous hip hop. There's no like genre or groups, and there's lots of us, like you said. There's tons in your community. There's 50,000 in LA." And so me and Armando said, let's create LA natives. Let's give them your perspective, Zero. Give them what you write in lyrics and in El Vuh, but talk about it, and we'll invite other guests to come in and share their story and their talent and their message. And then I just saw this huge vision of all Indigenous. I mean, we had this crazy festival in Los Angeles. I had this like little daydream about it, and that's exactly what you're talking about, brother. Is that we will have that platform for you.
That is so cool. That's what we don't have. Like when we're talking about on the East Coast, where I'm from, and the communities that I'm coming from are very, very attached to nature, right? It's all around us. We're very fortunate for that, but there's no hip hop scene per se. That it's not like in LA where it's an industry, right? You have this going on, and you have a lot of people supporting it and promoting it and pushing you in that direction. Well, we don't have that on the East Coast so much, so it's so different. It's really cool to see what you got going on here. But so what we don't have is like the access to the scene the way you do, but we do have access to nature, right? So it's really cool to make those
to add to that, how I see it, Zero, like I've worked with hundreds of artists, bro.
Absolutely.
Hundreds, and
big ones too.
And the majority of Indigenous conscious artists that I know of, they're considered underground. Am I right, Quinn? Like, I'm sure you could vouch and say you're an underground hip hop artist.
Absolutely. The whole scene is underground, right? The whole scene is underground. You got, there's something that I don't know if you've ever talked about it over here, because you don't see it over there because you're not on the reserves the way we are here. But there's severe lateral violence in our communities. There's so much. We talk about fighting the man, but the problem is the reservations were designed to destroy us, right? And we fell into a system that was not designed by our people. The governance structure is designed by the colonialists, right? And their whole design destroys us. So inside of our communities, you have several families. You may have 7 or 8 different families in a community, but it's a reservation. And we have to follow an election process that was designed by the non-native governance system, with the Indian Act that's in place over here in Canada. So you have a lot of people fighting to get these power seats, right? To be on chief or council or whatever it be. And a lot of tension and infighting inside those communities come from there. So you don't have that support system you would have right inside your community, right? So if you're a young guy up and coming, if you're living on the reserve and you want a job, and you don't want to leave the reserve, you sort of got to go with the system, right? And hip hop is not one of those things that's encouraged by chief and council. It's not, and it's not something that's really valued as much as it should be inside the communities, right? So there's a lot of lateral violence. There's a thing called vertical violence as well, and that's a generational violence. My grandparents didn't like your parents and blah, 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 blah. So that's like vertical. It's handed down violence within our own communities. So it's really, really hard to succeed sometimes in those areas of art like hip hop, because your own people are shutting you down, right? They're not giving you the support. So what happens is you take it underground, right? And then you're 5-6 guys doing your shows in the basement at an uncle's or whatever it be. So cool. you have the small scene, but it's never on the main stage because it's not promoted so much. Because hip hop can be very, very it can expose a lot of the problems, right? So if you're jumping on the mic with a big crowd and you're talking about your chief and council and the bullshit reason why your family ain't got a job in 2 fucking years, they don't want to hear that stuff. They're looking to shut you down. So it's got to go underground.
Wow.
And that's why for most cases on reserve, the hip hop scene is underground.
Wow. And that's so underappreciated, Zero. Like the kids out here nowadays, get a mic, get GarageBand, make one song. You're a rapper. You're accepted. Over there is completely different.
You do that shit, the stuff that, because I've been in situations where I don't get along with the chief and council. I'll fucking out you. I'll say shit that you're not going to like. And but the problem is the people that are in power during that time do have the power to make sure that your family's fucking starving the next 2 years or 4 years, whatever the mandate may be. And so then you get flack from your family, like, why the fuck did you say that? So it's a really hard scene to move up in. And that's why hip hop stays underground and the reserves.
But that just explains to you how racist things still are, because we have this illusion that racism went away in the 50s. Racism went away, dude. There was a civil rights in America, and it changed the whole entire planet. White people just all of a sudden said, wow, let's listen to these people that we think they're less than us, and that their answer is, well, our ancestors took your land. That's their answer of intelligence. Like, you guys were weak. We were not weak. We were children. We were 10 years old. We were 12 years old. How are you going to tell a grown man going up to your land and they killed your grandfather, they took your uncle, they murdered your mother, and then what's left is these kids, and like, well, what are you going to do about it? And that, we took your land, and they act so brave about it. They act like they were like super, super brave, and they fought.
They act like they own it.
That's why they used to say that Sitting Bull, when they tried to, like when he was active, that he would take out like 50 of those white dudes because he was not afraid. He wasn't afraid. Those guys are all loading their mullets and he's just going up there, wow, woo, just going, right? And they that's why they always said one of our warriors was like 100 of their men, because we fought with a different vigor. We fought with a different intention. There's no way you were gonna get close to my wife. There's no way if I was still breathing, I'm a crawl.
Yeah.
I don't care. You're not gonna get close to her. That's what we defend. We defend.
Yeah, man. We fought with love.
Yeah, we defend the earth like we defend our partner. That's how we defend our earth. So the strong message that you give, brother, keep going, man. Like how.
And you know what? That's a true hip hop artist right there.
Right.
Can't get any better than that. You can't describe it any better than that. Like Quentin Condo, dude. Like you have all the elements of hip hop.
And the leadership. The leadership. It's clear that you're some sort of a leader in your area. And if not, you're gonna be a strong one because your message is strong. Your intention is strong. And all you want is truth. All we want is truth, man. I'm not making this stuff up. I'm not making stuff up about colonial, racist.
No, it fucking exists.
Exactly. It's like, I'm not making this up. I'm not trying to go, ooh, the religion, Church of Vatican, Rome, I'm not making it up. Look it up. Look it up. The doctrine of discovery. Look it up. Manifest destiny. Look it up. You think I'm going to commit my children to another 500 years of your fucking lies and broken treaties? You're tripping. LA natives, Quentin Condo. Man, it's pleasure.
It's been an honor to be on the show with you guys. I really, really enjoyed the time talking to y'all. And man, fuck, I wish that we could talk for a few hours more, man.
Absolutely. Well, this isn't the last time that we're going to talk.
Yeah, sure.
I'm not sure if we're quite done yet, but I always like to inspire our community, our LA natives to regain confidence in who they are and where they come from. They come from an infinite place that can't be explained. So that's why we call it a mystery. We can't explain the universe.
We're straight from the creator, man.
Exactly. That love
Creation
that you
of
were talking
love.
about.
Yes, that creation of love. And I think every guest that we've had on this show speaks about that, speaks about that love connection, whether it be from your father or their grandmother, or just from Pachamama, just from Mother Earth,
Yep.
That's our true medicine as LA natives, is we do things with love. Whether we have a pistol in our hands ready to protect our children, we're still doing that with love, or whatever that may be.
Or we're cutting a deer and taking its skin and using its meat and using its bone. We're doing it with love. When we invite Quentin Condo to LA Natives to talk, we're doing it with love, brother. We appreciate your message. We appreciate your knowledge. I mean, man, I never knew that this size of sinew becomes a bow. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh man, you can do anything with that stuff, man. You can break down an animal. It's crazy. And the nose, you take the nose out of a moose or a deer, you dry that up, you crush it up, add some water. That's the best fucking glue you'll ever find.
Wow.
Yeah, there's all kinds of these things, man. There's so much knowledge in an
I've been
animal.
using
It's
sinew.
sexual.
Yeah, we've been using sinew to do our own jewelry for years, for like over 10 years. That's all I use for jewelry making is sinew.
Nice. I'm gonna send you guys. You're gonna give me your address, and I'm gonna send you some real sinew. Migma mint sinew, man.
Oh, Taso Kamatli. Thank you. Appreciate your gifts and your message, man. I can't say it enough, man. I can't say enough about your heart, because it shows. It shows your fatherhood, your connection with nature, your passion to your words and your community. At one point, the councils that rule the reservations will come home, and they'll realize that we are not the enemy. Not even the white man is the enemy. We are our own enemy. We are our own enemy. Because when you take care of yourself, when you eat right, when you have good health, when you have the connections you need, that spreads. That's love. You're loving yourself, and everybody else reflects that love. That's clear in your message, brother. That the love
We're all our own medicine as well,
Absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely. That's the road we're on, LA Natives. You have to be your own medicine man today.
That's what we're here to teach you and remind each and every one of you. We all hold this medicine deep inside of us. We are just here to be the guiders, to show you guys that reflection. Maybe it comes from a song, maybe it comes from somebody's one verse or one little line that they shared with you. It's going to spark that fire inside of you and reawaken that genetic memory.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, brother, tell us where we can find you, how we can share your message, your YouTube channel. You got to watch it. It's not hip hop videos. It's better. It's both, actually, I should say. It's both.
Yeah, so I'm doing hip hop and I'm doing life, right? So,
absolutely.
You can find that on YouTube. You can find me on Spotify and iTunes and all of that stuff and music. But beyond that, man, just get out there, get out on the territory, find your medicine, and make the world a better place. Make your families a better circle, and fucking keep trucking on, man. And 7 generations to go.
A whole 7 generations for sure, brother.
And as a fan, I visit his Instagram page and his YouTube page, and I'm glued.
Yeah,
because it provides different content, a different perspective.
And I can't wait to take a group of people out to your territories, and you teach them how to connect in that way, brother. Because
I'm excited for it, man.
We're gonna make it happen. We have a lot of good prayers and intentions out there, and you're a part of it now. You're a family member. Welcome home to LA Natives.
Thank you.
Well, you know what, Quinn? I really appreciate your time, man. It's been a privilege and an honor.
It has been for me as well, and I wish you guys the best for the rest of your night, for you right now, and for you tomorrow. It's peace out.
Oh,
much love.
And we got to get that track done soon.
Absolutely, I can't wait to get there. I can't wait to do it.
Quentin Condo, everybody. LA Natives.
Wow,
he's dope,
man. These episodes are just getting better and better.
Because we're finding our family, brother. It's like, you see his big old smile when he was talking to us? He was connected. And that's our job, Armando.
Mm-hmm.
Our job is to connect all these indigenous hip hop artists to come together and share your message and share your beauty and share your wisdom. Share your intention. Male, female, old, young. The time is now. Don't let colonial imposition and Vatican law rule your life, if you know what I mean. Do the research. You'll understand what I'm saying when I say that. It's our time because you were born, not because it's a clock hitting a certain date or a certain time of the day or a certain stars in alignment. It's our time because you were born. That makes it your time. LA natives.
Yes.
We're gonna get some stuff away, right?
I'm just still in shock of everything that he had to offer.
He's dope.
You know?
He was cool.
Again, Armando, you're lining these up like crazy. You know, it's like, what does this person have to offer?
Well,
and we
you
really
know,
hope that you guys are enjoying
I
these
actually
stories.
have a hip hop, promotion background, right? And I'm sure Quentin can vouch on this, that, when you're a credible promoter or a blogger like myself, I'm not just going to put anyone on.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you are like, with the whole blue checkmark society. I don't believe in that. It's what you put on the table of substance. Like if you're a hip hop artist and then you wave that flag as being conscious indigenous, well, let me listen to the music.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of indigenous hip hop out there that's, in my opinion, trash.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's others that are like diamonds in the rough.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's different. It's like hip hop and culture. It's not hip hop culture.
And I'm gonna be honest, I have never heard of Quentin Condo before. Prior to this podcast. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I do run one of the largest independent hip hop websites in the world, but this is why we created this podcast, because now I'm exposed not only to his music, but I subscribe to his YouTube channel.
Nice.
And I actually checked out his catalog.
Nice.
And I'm a fan. I'm hooked.
Cool.
Because he preaches about what he does. He doesn't front on his music. Like for you, Zero, like, the music you produce, like you don't front at all.
Nah. It has to come from a deep space in your spirit, in your heart. Things that connect you to a culture that supposedly has been erased from this earth, that ethereal ether that we call life. That's where it comes from, and that's where he gets it from. Because when you skin a deer, when you hunt a seal and you give it water, that's not commercial. That's not like Louis Vuitton. That's not Gucci. That's not a stack of money.
That's not MTV.
It's not. It's not Instagram. It's not, the blue check society.
They're opposed to that.
Well, they're opposed to it because they have no idea. They think that
because they monetize everything.
Well, look, let me explain something about the blue chip society, or how you want to call it.
Blue checkmark society.
Yeah, blue checkmark. They're so into Luciferian rituals that they can never understand the humility of a native and the connection from the earth. Because the rituals that they practice set, root, the whole thing is on ego. That's why you need a blue check. Right?
Yep.
So, very different contrasting messages, and everyone has the right to listen to whatever they need to listen to. But when LA Natives is in the building, we're representing not only 100 years, 2, 3, but thousands of years. Our abuelos put that on our shoulders and said, walk with it humbly and share it with your community.
And that's what Quentin Condo does. He holds the weight of his ancestors.
Oh,
I think every artist that we've had here definitely comes with no ego. They don't have an ego.
Yeah.
They do so much for the community. They do so much for our Mother Earth. That's who they protect.
Right.
There's no ego in
and hip hop,
LA
like,
natives.
and Quentin
There's
nailed
no
it.
ego in LA natives.
He hit it in the bullseye, though, that it's a very ego-driven business.
Oh,
the hip hop game.
when it comes
it's a
to-
grimy business too.
When it's pop culture, bro, it's like once the hip hop, the hip, that's it. It's over. It's done. It wasn't its essence of being in the park and sharing a message.
Vanilla Ice, boom.
It just got worse. It got worse from the Sugar. I mean, even though Sugar Hill Gang was a classic song, it's not Kumo D. It's not like vintage Keras One, Criminal Minded. It's not that. It became a corporate tool. It became a corporate tool so much that it incarcerated a whole generation of people.
Right. And another thing that caught my attention of what Quentin said is like how I always say, like, and I'm just going to be fact. Yeah, I respect the generation from the 90s and the 80s and the 2000s and the 70s, but like living right now is the best time to live, Zero.
Well,
it's the best time to like take advantage of the opportunities we have when the power's in our own hands due to social media. Yeah, you know, we can't beat them, we join them, but we try to pivot to where, they don't use us as much, right?
Well, I mean, I think the only way you confront a corporation or laws or any of that is to become a sustainable system, right? Like we have an audience out there that if you buy our shirt, it's not going into our pocket so we could go outside in our Beamer and go eat lunch in Silver Lake. That's not what LA Natives is. When you buy our shirt, we're taking 10 kids to Quentin Condo's ice fishing or spring fishing. Like, and when you donate to LA Natives, you're paying our subscription to this very expensive software. When you donate to LA Natives, you believe that we have humility and we won't misappropriate this gift, right? And we have that. I'm saying it on camera so that we can follow through with that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And for me, the philosophy that I have is to convert young hip hop fans, like how I was converted. When I was younger, I forgot to mention this to Quentin, but prior to listening to yourself, I was always into Dog Pound or Tupac and stuff like that, and buying their merchandise and thinking it was cool, to wear what the system told you to wear,
right?
But then when I got exposed to your music, I was like converted. I was like, okay, I can't look back now. Like, this is dope music, and I'm learning shit, and it's part of my lineage,
right?
I was curious. Then I ended up buying products, following you guys around and buying the CD when I had the opportunity to, because I was like, look, I know they're underground, and I know I'd rather pay them than go to Amoeba and buy a Tupac CD.
Right. It's crazy when underground messages contrast with the popular culture, right? A lot of people don't realize that there was in the 1930s a campaign to convince African American artists to use the word nigger in their music, right? In the 1928, rich white people, that was powerful. Excuse me.
The chain just woke up.
We need that sinew.
Quentin Condo said, hey, let me wrap
Quentin
this
Condo,
way. Check this out.
We'll send you our address ASAP.
You sent us a message, and so I'm going to respect it, and I'm going to put my thing down. But let me finish what I was saying. There was a campaign to convince African-American artists to use the word nigger because it creates a psychological effect in the community that it's in, right? Then we hit the NWA and black artists. And who sits at that chair to make this music the best? Jerry Heller. A part of that society that in 1928 tried to convince African Americans to use the word nigger in their music. You know what African Americans in the 20s said? That's crazy. What are you talking about? I'm not going to fucking convince people that we're slaves. But we hear that in hip hop all the time. We hear it so much that we start calling ourselves that. There was a reason why this record exec put these people on to convince you that we are all niggas. Right? Guys, just be aware of that shit.
And that's the power of influence. That's the power of being stuck in the matrix.
Absolutely. These
That
individuals.
goes along with a lot of other stuff too, such as, in our cultura, curanderismo, or just walking this path of the red road, a lot of women call themselves witches. I'm a witch. Oh, this is black witch magic. And little do they know that our ancestors were totally against being called witches, and a lot of our elders are still against being called witches, So yeah, taking back our names, reclaiming back our names.
So taking it back to the merchandise, right? Zero, there's a lot of
we have
rappers
a
around.
lot.
I just, shout out to the homie. I don't want to mention, but remember I shot you a link that he's selling a $100 hoodie.
Right.
It has a Uzi on it. It has a guy getting killed on it.
Right.
It has some gangster type of element on it.
Right.
$100. Rock it. Wow. Picture yourself holding a Uzi and killing someone. Yeah, go ahead, rock it.
Yeah.
Play my record. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, the hip hop's dope, but that's not the message that this podcast is about.
No, not this one.
Not this one.
And not just our products. The homie Richie's product, Indigenous 1492. Quentin Condo's product and merch. As soon as I get a link to his merch, I'm gonna go ahead and support, buy a t-shirt, buy a hat. Because I know it's going towards a good cause.
Well, it's going towards his music. Independent artists survive off of the community support. So I know we as LA natives are trying to put together quality product. So we can go to Smorgasbord. I don't know. In LA, there's a trendy kind of upscale type of clothing, and they sell food for they sell vegan food for $50, and
they sell t-shirts for $80.
Yeah,
plain white t-shirts.
T-shirts
that are crafted in Los Angeles. It's a full blown exploitation of what the essence of Los Angeles means, right?
Absolutely. They're exploiting the fact that we come from a very popular city and that everything we do here becomes some sort of a notable thing, right?
It's known that's a handcrafted city where you could buy a garment that's handcrafted by a famous Asian designer.
Well,
but the fabric came from, the warehouse where, our brothers and sisters are working out of.
Absolutely. And, we have a lot of ideas in incorporating independent garment store eventually, but know that the resources that we're creating is not to exploit our fan base or our people that support us, because we want to give back to you guys. That's why we have Richie's hats here and we have other shirts, and I'm sure we're going to give away some LA Natives merchandise.
And if it's not going to be on the 9th episode, that's my goal, but by the 10th episode, we'll have a full-blown product display. We'll have it in the shop, and we'll show it to people on how high quality we're trying to deliver our products and keep it as, as cultural as possible. Our t-shirts are going to fully represent, and our merchandise, the podcast.
Do we have the shirt? Is the shirt by us? Yeah. I want to show you what it's going to look like when you rock our gear.
Right. They're not done yet.
No, but I mean, an example. Remember you showed me, you're like, hey, look, and you put the hat on the shirt on top of the shirt, and it just saw a person wearing it, and I was like, that's what we're doing. We're doing innovative clothing design with a purpose of giving back to our community with free concerts, hopefully free concerts.
And where we're sourcing it from is the equivalent as the Nike t-shirt, the Reebok t-shirt, the Hangin' Eddie Bauer t-shirt, and what substance is there?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Is Eddie Bauer taking people to camp, and is Eddie Bauer going to put on a free show for poor communities?
From what I know, Nike, supports slave labor in China.
So there you go.
They have nets outside of their warehouses because when people, get super sick and tired of the situation, some of them go to the roof and try to commit suicide, jumping off the buildings, but they have nets, bro.
Wow. Well, this is what it's going to look like.
Yeah, these are all handcrafted, hand printed.
And so I want you to see the uniform. This is the uniform here, guys. This is the uniform. Look at this.
Now
look at that.
The cap on top is from Indigenous 1492.
It's
The
a
bucket hat.
collaboration,
Yeah.
obviously.
Go ahead and flip it around.
Flip it to the indigenous.
The hat.
Look at that.
It says Indigenous right on it. And you know, I put those pieces together and Zero was instantly hooked.
I'm like, I want to do that. I want to wear that. I want to wear the LA Natives hat and the Indigenous 1492 shirt. I want to wear the LA Native shirt and the Indigenous 1492 hat.
And what we're doing, fully branding, we're gonna put the heat transfer, custom logos. We're actually putting the Unaku on every piece of merchandise that we put out. Now go ahead and describe what that means, Zero. Like, you know, the whole, yeah.
The Hunapku is what they call let's look at this style. Look at that. Look at that, Armando. Tell me you're not going to be the freshest native in Arizona, Canada, Los Angeles, New York. I mean, come on, dude. This is like fashion at its best because it has a purpose. We have plans to have a space that we can make these podcasts, not only LA Natives, like we got other things in line, and we got concerts, and we got workshops about birth and food workshops about high mineral things that we can do.
And then when our fans, you know, when people see our fans rocking their shirt, they're going to see that Unaku and possibly say, yo, what is that?
Exactly.
You know?
And they're going to say, this is the galactic butterfly that's in the center of the universe. It has a balance of light and dark. And from all life, it comes from. That's what the Hunapku is. That's what we're going to put. That's your badge. So when you get in front of a cop and he's putting his fucking badge in front of you, you fucking show him the Hunapku and not be afraid to die and go, fucking, I defend the earth. I defend my people. I defend my wife. I defend my kids.
Right. And as a kid, you know, when I stumbled upon your music in high school and a couple years after high school, like you guys would incorporate that symbol in your music, in your art covers, in your guys' promotion, you know, T-shirts. And it's on the back of actually Richie's merchandise as well.
Right. And that's going to be a part of our shirt. So it becomes like a collaboration uniform. I mean, it's not, that symbol is universal. Everyone can use it. It's almost like, you know, a symbol of all life culminating together, right? That's the power of the symbol of Unapku. But we're trying to put the size in LA Natives. We're trying to get that Unapku. We're trying to get good quality shirts that are comparable to something at Smorgasbord.
To help kids understand that if you go into Walmart, if you go into the shopping centers, if you go into the Louis Vuittons, right? What substance is there other than trying to feel better than someone else?
Right.
You know, trying to impress people that you don't know.
That's a key. Trying to feel,
you know,
better
rather
than
than
someone else.
Being part of a tribe and something that you actually believe in and supporting their merchandise. Because, like, personally, I've spent, like, as a hip hop head and as a fan, I've spent tens of thousands of dollars on products from influencers that helped me through my journey.
Yeah. Like, I know
I'm one of those enthusiasts that actually put out my wallet and say, hey, look, I'm going to buy those $300 shoes from Indigenous designer.
Right. Right.
Did you buy the shoes?
No, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. And that's the plan that we want to expose.
Instead of getting
talents.
the Nike bucket hat
Yeah.
from the mall that's $50, I'd rather buy Richie's bucket hat.
Right.
It says Indigenous 1492 on it.
And it represents a movement. It represents a people. It represents a message. It reminds white people that we're survivors of genocide. And then we're going to walk this earth repping our culture, repping our feathers. I mean, that's LA Natives, brothers. Like, we rep feathers.
And, you know, obviously we're on Twitch. We're on YouTube. You know, competing with other podcasts and influencers that are pitching their message or narrative. You know what I'm saying? If you know what I mean. And they have no shame on asking for people for donations. Remember, Zero, the other day, like the minute I switched on the Twitch, some dude was just like rambling about nonsense. And he's like, yo, I got my PayPal link. Donate. Yeah, There's no substance there.
Right. I mean, because it's all regurgitated Google searches. You know, it's like.
And another thing you did mention, Zero, like people who are watching us, right? If you feel like you guys could do the same thing, go ahead, hit us up. Ask us, yo, how do I start a podcast? How do I create a movement? There's nothing to hide here. We'll tell you exactly, you know, how to do it. And if not, we could cross promote. Like we're fully transparent here, Zero.
Absolutely. We have to be, because that's what will be successful. An organized approach to everything, not just, oh, I have a banging podcast and I live in a nice house in Los Angeles and my family's okay. Nah, we're going to try and make sure that everybody's educated. Everybody has an ability to reach resources that can help them transform their lives. We're healing things. We're not trying to sell you things. We're healing things. When you rock the LA Native shirt, you're healed, man. You're on your journey to being healed.
And you're actually helping, possibly getting kids to convert. You know, someone's going to see that shirt and say, yo, what is that all about? Yeah. All they have to do is type in LA Natives on Google, and they're going to stumble upon, you know, the X interview, the Cali Marie interview, the Quentin Condo interview. And then they're going to be like, wow.
Yeah.
You know, that feeling of absorbing content that you were unaware of, you know,
right.
Like that feeling I had as a kid when, you know, in that garage, when they were bumping Gangstar and they were bumping Off Raw, and then the homie Willie showed up, and then he put in the Jaguar Prophecies. And then, you know, he has an Unaku tattoo on his back.
Oh, shit.
You know what I'm saying? Do you see how that correlates, Cyril?
Yeah.
Like how your music influenced a lot of kids out here?
It did, in a very humble way, and now we're seeing the results of it with this LA Native podcast. You know, it's not about Zero. It wasn't about Zero Victory or Eric or E-Rise. We wanted to create a message that was digestible for everyone to understand that the shift was happening, that the stars are talking, and that we're moving into a new light and a new understanding as a community, that we are going to rise from genocide, treat our children with love, and connect to the earth like our grandparents taught us. The old grandparents. The ones that we can't even remember their face. That's how much they loved us, that they gave us a road. They gave us a road and they said, this road isn't easy, but I believe you can make it. And that's who we are.
So
LA Natives. What
we're going to do is give away how many items?
We have 2 hats and a shirt.
Okay, guys.
So is our community still out there?
Yes, they're there. They're there. And especially for the people that they're going to watch this in the archives, visit our website.
Yeah.
LANativespodcast.com and subscribe.
Absolutely. That has to be
we get notified with every email that comes in. And shout out to the few fans out there that did order. We are fully aware of your guys' orders. As soon as we fulfill the items.
It was Brandon, right? Shout out to Brandon.
And he's a dope tattoo artist.
Go visit his page.
He's actually on our live chat.
Yeah, Brandon, he's actually here with us today.
Shout out to Brandon. Thank you so much for your support, brother.
And we're going to go ahead and give you a few more goodies in that package as well.
Yeah,
for
it's going to be a
supporting
nice little fat package for being the first.
Yes. And like I said, you know, support. Within a few weeks, our merch will be 100%. And not only support our merchandise, but support the other merchandise that we're going to be promoting on this podcast. Like, for example, the Indigenous 1492 merchandise. That brother Richie, man, he's definitely one of a kind.
Yeah, he's such a humble spirit and super talented in terms of knowing what kids like to wear.
Yeah, and he's on episode number 2.
Yeah, we interviewed Richie from Indigenous 1492.
I think all our guests have had some kind of merchandise. So check out all the...
Right, Azomatli.
Yeah, check
and
out
Zero,
all the interviews.
What I'm going to start doing is on our YouTube page, I'm going to start creating clips of nice, you know, segments from our conversations and uploading them individually as well so people can have more content to share.
Absolutely. And then we want to also announce that we're going to go to LA Natives twice a week.
Yes. At least by episode 10, we'll be up by twice a week, incorporating a different angle to our conversation on the Wednesdays. And then to follow that up, a private Patreon page where I think Zero did mention that we're going to be going over, you know, topics that we can't necessarily talk about live.
Freely. We're going to go into depth. So if you want to know about certain I don't know, whatever current events are happening.
Because this is why, you know, I brought the idea to the podcast with you, Zoe, because I know you have a lot to say.
I do. I feel like I don't get a chance to do it on the podcast. Like I don't,
because you know your limitations.
Yeah. And I also don't want to get censored on YouTube and Facebook take us down and all that stuff. So Patreon is going to be key to getting information that you're not going to find anywhere else. And it comes with I want to make sure that you know that I really don't know much, but people like what I say. And I'm honored that the ancestors have given me the ability to communicate and articulate survival of genocide. And there's key elements in decolonizing your spirit and your physical body, because it's not just free your mind. It's not just that. You got to free your body. You got to free your will. You got to free your spirit. That's what we're talking about. And that's what Patreon's going to go into.
Yes.
We're going to go into deep on that. We're going to go deep on how to free and decolonize your spirit. Not that I have the answers, not that I have the key. I only have what I have, and I humbly share it with you privately.
From how I see it, they're going to be full-blown workshops, private online Patreon workshops where, you know, someone tunes in and, man, they're going to hear a lot from you.
Yeah, I'll go deep into the Vatican. I'll go deep into the 4 agreements. I'll go deep into the 5th agreement. I'll go deep into Toltec wisdom. I'll go deep into
in current situations,
current events,
the crisis, the crisis that we're going through now. That apparently we can't even mention these key words.
Yeah, we don't want to mention them. Why? It's the same shit. It's the same shit. It's called slavery. You know, it's called slavery. That's what it's called. It's called modern day slavery. It's called listen to me or I'm gonna fucking cut your Social Security off. That's what it's called. But I don't need to use their stupid terms on CNN and all that bullshit. But join our Patreon. That's where really the medicine is gonna lie, you know. And in Patreon, we get to develop a community almost one-to-one, and we can provide one-to-one too, because we all survived genocide in our own way. And I only have a medicine bag of what the Creator gave me that I want to share with you. But I can't do it on these platforms. I can't do it honestly without somebody flagging me or saying some stuff, or, you know, that's not there. It's just my opinion. And that's what I want to clearly put out to the community. It's just my opinion. It's just, I'm not special. There's no special. Everyone is special.
Well, it's the equivalent of what Quentin Condo said. Like, you know, he's out there, he's a big voice in his community, but it's a very small community. And he, you know, rubs elbows with the appointed, you know, leadership
Chiefs,
out there.
The chiefs, yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Even just when he said, you know, his lack of support even from his own family because of what he's saying, you know, it's putting his own family in
not
danger.
as accepted out there.
It's not as accepted out there, yeah.
Yeah, like we all got punished because of you. You know, we're not going to get our chicken pox blankets and our bags of flour and our complacent life because you had to say some shit.
Right. And I love the fact that he's from a whole different region of Turtle Island.
Yeah. He's by, you know, West Coast.
Global indigenous. Like, yeah, we're LA natives, but there's natives in Mexico. Yep. There's natives in Southern America.
Mm-hmm.
You know, from, you know, when you type in Mexicatiawi, like that symbol comes up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's you can't erase thousands of years of history. You can't erase that.
Yes, there's the different elements, different regions, but they're all connected.
Didn't he say 7 generations? I mean, Quentin Condo said 7 generations. That's something that we say down here in the South. You know, and just to know that he's correct with that. Our future is our children. And unfortunately, we grew up in dysfunction until about 94. And then at 94, people took a brave step and faced the fire and faced their own mirror and started cleaning themselves up for their 7 generations, for their children. That's all we got, man. All we got is each other. All we got. is this beautiful, beautiful experience on this earth. We can't waste our time.
So shout out to everyone in the chat. You know, Willie E. World, Ore Belinko, DJ Extra Medium.
I like that name, DJ Extra.
Brando Tattoos. Much respect for that order, man.
Brando,
as soon as
you.
we get everything going, man, it's going straight into the mail.
Thank you so much, brother. We really believe in you.
Digital Fire Official.
Nice.
And Willie E. World, man. We're here. We really appreciate you, staying with us.
What do you guys think in the chat? Let's get it. So we have some chat.
So yeah, right here we have a comment from.
Just watch the movie Wiping the Tears from the Seven Generations. My grandmother narrated the documentary.
Yeah, we struggled, but that's what makes us strong. So that's what makes us resilient. There's no challenge that we can't come up and face. Think about it. They took everything.
Shout out to Aztec Gamaya Danzante.
Oh.
And he says, school is in session, y'all. See what I mean, Zero?
Oh, Mateo. I humble.
And that's very similar to what you said. Like, hey, like when you stumble upon Quentin Condo's material, it's like, that's college right there.
Yeah. There's no, he came up with the point with like, and I love all my brothers, and we all have this hope that this abusive, rapist, colonizer is one day going to go, hey, we should teach them what they used to know. We should teach them that. We should liberate their spirit. They're never going to do it. And they don't need to do it. We need to do it. It's not their job to implement a program in the school. And with all due respect to all my natives who feel like we need to join a system to beat the system, that's a perfect system. Come to my house and try to take me out of my own house. That's never going to happen. He has all the angles. He has all the exits. He knows where all the windows are. He knows everything, and we're trying to go in there and change it. It's not going to change. Nor am I going to stay here and say, let's destroy it. It destroys itself.
So when Quentin Condo was describing his environment, how the equivalent out here, according to Will, he said, like, it's not like you could canoe in the LA River.
You can, but
can
it's
you?
Like
will it be illegal or something?
It'll be like on a street sign that's kind of floating in a deep part of the LA River. I mean, you can. I'm kidding.
I just, I feel so disconnected, man. Like, I'm definitely gonna, hit up Quentin and like, yo, dude, I need to take a trip out there. I need a detox.
I mean, when you connect to nature in that way, Armando, it's so instant and innate. It's so natural. You're gonna breathe the first breath of air, but you gotta do it alone.
Right. And I'm like thinking, I'm gonna get killed by a bear.
Yeah, you're gonna think that. You're gonna think like,
Why would you have fear?
But that's but that's what they brainwashed us to think out here from the concrete jungles.
Can I answer that real quick? Want to know why you're scared? Because they had to demasculate us. They had to, am I saying that right? Demasculate us. Like, take our manhood away. How do they do that? Molestation, torture, abduction. That's what we suffered as natives. This is the truth. That's why you feel that way,
right,
bro.
Like I feel so bad if I'm like walking in the forest or in the land with Quentin and then a bear comes at us and he's like, yo, stay still. And I'll be like, nah, dude, I'm booking it. I'll be that type, you know what I'm saying? But
I think you will be, but I don't know if you get connected to this medicine right here on this table and know people like me and Jenny and feel like that you're going to have that reaction.
But it's not okay to convince us that other animals are savages and they're going to kill us.
Right. I get it.
Am
like,
I right?
To be
like they're
fearful of it.
Fearful of the bear.
Right.
When Quentin is like, hello, neighbor.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
That's exactly. And to be honest with you, I think Jennifer is a little bit more connected in that sense than me. I always have a apprehension. You know, I always have that. We were recently at this beach and we found this cave. And I was like, no, I got to figure out the waves. And Jenny was just like, boom, in. And she started singing songs. And I was like, it takes a certain connection, but it needs to be developed. Some people have more. And then I went in there and I figured out the waves and the path. And I was confident and I stood there. Everyone has their own steps is what I'm trying to say, Armando. It's like, don't feel bad that you didn't have a grandfather who was connected to the things that we were connected thousands of years ago. Let me tell you one thing, Armando. That grandfather lives in your blood.
Right.
It lives in your blood. That's the only reason you go, hey, Zero, let's do this podcast.
From what I know, you know, on my dad's side, the Mexican side, my grandfather was a womanizer, beater, always had a gun, and they had, between him and his brothers, they had an argument because of a woman, and there was liquor involved, and between brothers, they all had a shootout.
Wow.
Sounds like my
That's
family.
the Mexican story, right?
Well, I mean, that's a story that when you tell me that story, I picture this Spaniard with the sword teaching the youth, this is the way you treat people and she's your ownership. And if someone comes to her, you got to get a gun and kill him.
From you know, I heard a story that my grandma escaped from my grandpa. So what my grandpa did is tied up my great grandma to a tree and used her as bait to bring her back.
Wow.
And my grandma fell in love with them.
Dude, tell me.
Can you imagine?
Tell me that that's not like some.
That's torture.
With the
That's
gun.
Fearful.
With the gun.
That's like love out of fear.
But
like,
that's the rancho. That's Raruana, Michoacan. That's, you know.
That's colonial rule, brother. That's not the way we are. That's the way we learn to be.
Different generation.
Well, it comes from, look, imagine.
listen to everybody's story of their mother and their great grandmother that we interviewed here.
Right.
That is what we have to decolonize from, is those type of stories, you know, the stories that you're sharing right now.
Right, like
Because
how
they're
Quentin
true
said, like his
stories.
stories, like the women, you know, always were in charge.
Yeah.
Like for me, like from what I know with my grandfather and my great grandfather, that wasn't the case, bro.
No, because we come from a colonized, like that region, he said, was 15 something, right?
Yeah.
But when we got colonized by the Spaniards from Mexico, like, you got to remember, it was only children left over. That's how human trafficking works. You don't try to take adults across the ocean. You try to take small people, young individuals that you can train, brainwash, and try to mimic what you are, right? So think about that. Think about a slave-owning Spaniard, and he has a pretty girl in his thing, and he ties her to the tree, and he has a gun, and he's...
Well, and apparently my grandma was the most beautiful girl in town.
There you go.
And that's why, you know...
I think all of our stories, all of our parents' stories have some kind of story like that,
Yeah.
you know, which again goes all down to machismo-ness, you know.
Right, what the Spaniards brought over here. They brought a
Which is
teaching.
all brought by the Spaniards, yes. And we as women have to bring back that love and that care back to
Yes.
remind you guys that the only medicine we have for you guys is love. That's it. That's all we have is love. And that love is going to open you guys up. And that love is connected everywhere you guys go. And that love is in Mother Earth. That
Right.
when you take that first breath, when you're surrounded by big trees, you know.
So, you know, hearing Quentin's story, it just makes me feel like I need to embrace the history, embrace my grandparents, embrace their grandparents and their grandparents, because they probably weren't like my grandparents.
Well, I mean,
you know,
I'm sure if you follow the road, the yellow brick road to your lineage, you'll realize that they weren't always tying women to a tree and making them their property. You'll know that to have a relationship.
But you know that it was like that a lot in Mexico in those times, in the 30s and 20s.
It was like
Very
that
much so.
once the kids from the orphanages and the kids from the missions escaped or were let go. And then when they were let go, they go and they repeat what they were living in the. So you can't blame your grandparents. You can't blame your dad. You can't blame your mom. They were taught by very vicious I mean, think about even the stories of the nuns, right? When you go, oh, I went to Catholic school. Oh, did they beat you? Right? That's the first thing they say. Did they beat you? Did they hit you with the... Come on, think about that. If you're coming with a spiritual message, don't use violence to get it across, right? Like if you're trying to save my life, don't stick me with a needle.
And that's what I hear and see that everyone has in common in the indigenous hip hop community. That philosophy of respect, respect your woman, respect the family.
Yes.
And keep, moving forward.
In a good way. Walking in beauty. As the Lakota say. Walk in beauty. This is your saying too. Just because you're not Lakota doesn't mean you can't use it. Because if you were from Michoacan and I was Lakota and I went there and I said, man, our people walk in beauty, and that inspires you to walk in beauty, then you teach the people around Michoacan, hey, we walk in beauty here. And that's the point of LA Natives. When we talk to Quentin Condo, when we talk to Mike Bone, when we talk to Taboo, when we talk to all these people, how we're asking our artist community, how do we walk in beauty? How do we walk in beauty? Shout out to the Lakotas out there who have that saying in their language. We got a lot of things signed. We got a lot of things in store for you. We're gonna get a Wednesday interactive show where you get to sign on. You get to either call in. We're gonna shoot you a link. We'll do a side-by-side little 2 to 3 minute interaction. That's gonna be Wednesdays. We haven't named that show yet, but I don't know how's the chat feeling about that announcement that we're gonna go 2 weeks, two times out of the week. There's gonna be a Wednesday show, which is a Q&A show. We haven't named it yet.
Yeah, and the Wednesday show is gonna be more of a open platform show.
Yeah, it's not gonna have a guest.
Call in. Fans could debate with you.
Absolutely.
We respect everyone's opinion.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And next week we have JB, the First Lady.
JB, the First Lady is next.
She's a dope hip hop artist. Make sure you guys follow her. I'm gonna go ahead and put together her flyer.
Same.
Nice.
My nickname.
Okay, so we're also
on Wednesdays.
Indigenous 1492 says what time on Wednesdays? Maybe around the same time.
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock.
Or maybe later in the evening.
Maybe 6.
Let's do. Can we do 8?
We could do
8 to like 9.
Yep.
We're talking
1
about
hour.
LA traffic.
It's only gonna be 1 hour because we want people to be, or 7. Let's do 7.
Let's do 7.
Yeah, 7's cool.
Yeah.
7's cool because we don't know how long it's gonna be.
It could be 7 to 8 or 7 to 9, depending on the situation. But I know we need to provide another element 2 days a week because there's so much content we need to cover, right, Zero? Because at first we felt like, hey, there might not be enough content, but man, it's coming.
It's like,
and now's the time. Like Quentin said, now's the time to living today and influencing today is quite possibly the most important time in the history of civilization.
Right on. What's the chat room saying, JB?
Chat room is saying sounds good.
Nice. So we got 2 shows lined up for LA Natives. It's powered by hiphopblog.com. You can't forget that.
Underground hip hop blog.
I'm sorry. Underground hip hop.
And then like you said, by the 10th episode, we're gonna go ahead and transition to these bonus Patreon videos, once a week videos of just like going in on very important topics,
like immune boosting,
yes,
health tips,
and full of content and substance and stuff you could take away from. This is why we're creating that Patreon. It's gonna be like a very small donation type based monthly subscription, but we're gonna give the people, back what they essentially subscribe to. Like, I want to know about this. I want to know about that. Thank you for filling me in on being in depth about these current situations and stuff like that.
Absolutely, because we have to take it to the root. You can't just go, oh, I'm in a restricted law that the colonials are putting in place. You can't just do that. You know what I mean? You got to go, well, how did it get there? What step did we take to get to this place? Right here where we're restricted. You can't even breathe fresh air. I mean, those type of things, right? There's no reason to to kind of go, let's point the finger at this microscopic dot, because it wasn't the microscopic dot. That's how accurate they're getting.
Right. And then, there's a big full-blown fear-mongering campaign going on right now, right?
Yeah.
Nationwide, worldwide. And this is why we're going to create the Patreon, because Zero knows how to pivot from that.
Absolutely. You use your heart. Use your intention. Use the love we were talking about. But it goes way deeper than that. And I want to share that with you on Patreon. I want to get into those. I want to build that strong community that's going to pick up something and contribute to the change of our people. And not the change of our people so that we can get land ownership or pull out papers and deeds. What we want to do is reintroduce you to the fire and show you your own mirror and tell you how beautiful you are, how strong you are, how brave you are for surviving genocide, for naming your children an indigenous name, for searching out the Tonalama, for understanding who Tonatu is. These are when we came together as natives, we brought tribute to you. And all we're asking too is to support our merch, donate if you believe in our cause. Join us on Wednesdays. Join our Patreon. This is all an independent intention. There's no real corporate backing. No one's giving us funds and any of that. We take our own time. We bring our own medicine, and we invest our own money into creating products for you, so you can walk around this land mass understanding that no fake border, no fake treaty, no fake contract rules your reality. So we're going to give away this stuff. We ready?
Yes. You have to subscribe to the website, LANativespodcast.com.
That's one way of winning.
Of winning. And let me open up the website and see who's subscribed.
Absolutely. Let's see. If you haven't subscribed, here's your chance, man. You're going to get free stuff when you subscribe to our website. And the only reason we ask you to subscribe to our website is so that you could look at our merch.
And it's another good way to avoid social media when it comes to marketing and letting our audience know who we got coming up next and what podcast episodes we uploaded, new merch.
Absolutely.
New merchandise, promoting our Patreon, promoting our Wednesday segments.
Yeah, and staying connected to our universe, right? Our LA Native universe, right? We get to create our own platform, and which we're doing, and we have tons of stuff planned for you. We got some dope hoodies, we got some dope shirts, we got Richie's Indigenous 1492 hats, and we got shirts. We got El Vuh CDs. So everybody who won last week, please, shout us out on your social media. Play a song from the CD you received, and share that message with everyone out there. Because we rely on you to be our commercial. We're not going to go out there and try to get a Nike sponsorship or an Adidas sponsorship. I mean, we all know what their intentions are, and their intentions are to exploit another country so that they could sell you cheap merchandise.
And man, our numbers tripled. We got a good 30 subscribers.
Wow, that's pretty good.
It's
humble. It's
one at a time.
One at a time. And that's what we believe in. We believe in one at a time. We believe in giving.
And the more subscribers we get, the more motivated we are to continue to push this content that I believe is so important for the indigenous hip hop community.
Right. And their uniform, man. We need to give you the gear to wear. And LA Natives is providing that. We're giving you quality garments. Like, the shirt isn't just a AAA shirt with the plastisol, warehouse feel. I mean, we're gonna sew these unapgu patches on there, and we're gonna heat press the size of the shirt, and we're gonna give you a quality garment that's comparable to something you would buy at a trendy LA shop, but with an affordable price.
Okay, so that red piece there, the bucket cap, we're going to go ahead and give it to our latest subscriber, and we'll notify him or her. Night of the Pale Moon at Gmail. You just won yourself a very important piece. This is not just any bucket hat, right, Zero?
No. It's brought to you by one of the dopest, humblest influencers out there. You know, who will humbly give you his water and give you his last dollar in his pocket, because that's the type of spirit. And so when you wear that hat, remember that you're not only rocking indigenous, you're not only rocking the Unapku, but you're rocking in what we call Inca Rich's spirit.
So whoever's out there, if you're Night of the Pale Moon, and if you're watching this, please email us at lanativespodcast@gmail.com or DM us on Instagram. And all you have to do is say, hey, look, I won the bucket hat, the red one. Here's my address. Much love.
All right, let's do something real quick with the chat. We got another hat. So can we, is it real time that we check the subscribers? Is it real time? So if someone signs up onto the website, it's real time. You can check that right away, right?
Yeah, Quentin Condo just subscribed.
Okay, so we can't give him a hat, Quentin. Come on. I'll have to hand deliver you that one.
No, but personally, Quentin, if you do have merchandise, shoot the links our way. I'm down to support, like a t-shirt, whatever to help your cause.
Okay. Who on the chat has not subscribed yet to our website? I want to see how many. Is there anybody out there who could say that they have not subscribed? If it's more than one, the first one to subscribe, we're going to give another hat away. Someone else subscribe?
Not just yet.
Refresh that button.
Refresh.
Not yet.
Not yet. Ooh, some people.
See, Night of the Pale Moon subscribed on the 8th.
Okay. Oh, that was
just recent.
Yeah.
We had two subscribers on the 8th, one on the 3rd, one on December 28th, one on December 27th.
Those of you on the chat, the first one to subscribe was going to win the other hat that we have by Richie. And we have tons of Tonali Nagual CDs. We have El Vuh merch that we're going to give away. I have some El Vuh.
Now, look, we have 8 viewers. I'm sure all the 8 viewers have subscribed. If there's one person that hasn't subscribed, look, trust. Go on the website, lanativespodcast.com. Subscribe. It's right there on the homepage. And you're going to win.
You're going to win. You're going to win. It's that simple. It's that simple. And you know what? I want to give away an El Vuh shirt. Is that cool?
Right.
Okay. We have our hat thing
and
going.
On the next episode, let's try to give away Let's try to give away merchandise when we're peaking. I'll let you know, Zero, we got 20, 30 people chimed in.
Okay.
Let's take a break and give away our gifts.
Okay.
Don't you think that's a little better idea?
I like it, but I think people should stay till the end. And if we could, whoever stays at the end, the 8 people that
Hit that refresh button, Mondo. I think we got a new subscriber.
Not yet.
Or it's probably not real time. That's probably it.
Maybe. Well,
Okay, did you subscribe? Was that what he said?
Yeah.
On this, who is it?
Lavato 4.
Okay, right here.
Did.
Oscar the Boxer.
Is that you, brother?
Is that you?
Oscar the Boxer?
Lavato 4.
So whoever Oscar the Boxer is,
he won.
The black bucket hat?
Yeah, it's the black one.
Okay.
Oscar the Boxer.
Night of the Pale Moon won the burgundy hat, Indigenous 1492. And Oscar the Boxer won
the black one.
And they're both dope.
They're both cool.
I can't really say, oh yeah, the black one's doper or the red one's doper. They're both just very, very special pieces.
Okay, I want to give away a Tonali Nagual.
So look.
Oh wait,
my bad. Oscar, just DM us or email us your address. Say you won the black bucket hat. It was him?
No, it wasn't him.
Oh shoot.
Lavato 4 was not him. So
Lavato 4.
Well, you know what? Much respect to Oscar though, right? Because he's tuning in.
He's
the winner. He did exactly what we were asking him to do.
Exactly. And you know what?
It's my son won.
And what I'm actually thinking about is when we run sales, giving our subscribers an exclusive discount code.
Yeah, we have to do that. That's the part of being a part of our website. When you take the time to subscribe to our website and give us all your information, know that we're not going to exploit it. We're not going to sell it to anybody, but we are going to be like, hey, you know what? Since you're a loyal LA Natives community member, we just got our new merchandise in, and you got a code to save $5 to $10 off our shirt. And so, when we have overstock of things, you guys will be the first people to be reached out. The Patreon, the Wednesday viewers, and the Sunday LA Native viewers. Was funny. What happened?
Ore Belinko, I guess that's your son just won, and he's all like, Oscar's in the living room with us right now. So Oscar, the winner of the Black Bucket hat, they're just happy they're in the living room sharing.
Oh, so they were in the same household. So two people
like
subscribed.
Something like that.
But the other guy, I guess maybe they jumped on two separate computers and the winner won, right? So, but it goes to the same household, and we thank you so much for having fun with us. We like to give things away. We want to give tons of things away. We love giving to our community. So is now a good time to give away a CD of mine?
Yes, and I have someone that we're going to give it away to.
Oh, there's another subscriber.
Yes, because Lovato 4, he said, man, I just subscribed like either a couple of days ago. So what we're going to do is give the t-shirt to Lovato 4. He subscribed.
There you go.
Lovato?
So
Lovato 4.
Lovato 4. Let me go ahead and get a pen and write this all
Lovato
down.
4. Remember so Oscar won the hat. The homie won the shirt.
I'm writing everything all down in the chat room. Yeah.
So they can switch it off, and maybe one day Oscar could wear the hat and the shirt, or maybe.
Ore Belinko
So
said got 3 family members.
Lovato
who are
4,
watching right
if you're watching Lovato
3
4,
family members.
let us know what your email is. DM us your email on our Instagram, or email us at lanativespodcast@gmail.com and send us over your information. She's gonna save all the information for the giveaways, and I'll be in the post office in a couple days.
And thank you for doing that, Armando. Armando puts his own time to take it to the mail. It's hard work to keep up with the orders and put them out on time and make a quality garment.
What did Lovato 4 win?
He won the Richie shirt, the white one. You want to show it? Yeah, let's show it to him.
Stop glorifying one?
Yeah, that one. Because we had 3 giveaways from Richie.
And we're gonna throw in those stickers too, by the way.
So the shirt says, "Stop glorifying the oppressors." That's what I like about Richie, man. Richie comes out straight out. Shout out to Richie. Go Rich.
Oh, nice. He actually went ahead and sent over the email right now.
Sweet. So we're good to go,
Cool.
man.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and save that email so we could send him off a message and ask for his address.
Okay. So we're getting there.
So yes, Oscar the Boxer. Yep. You're welcome. He just said thank you for the bucket hat.
And I'm gonna give away.
Lovato 4 is super excited. Now, guys, if you guys are gonna be the winners of this, the only thing we ask from you guys is to share our podcast, share our content, let other people know. Hey, look, there's a community. There's a cool podcast here that actually, kicks some knowledge and substance.
Not only that, but we want to require you to take a picture for any social media platforms and tag us.
And most importantly, if any of your friends compliment you on that Indigenous 1492 bucket hat or that Stop the Oppressors t-shirt, let them know. Like, look, visit the website, buy it,
subscribe.
Don't go to Nike. Don't go to Shoe City. Don't go to Walmart.
Exactly. These corporations have nothing. They don't want anything. They ain't gonna help you. They ain't gonna give you free food. They ain't gonna give you any of that stuff. LA Natives is gonna point you in a direction to self-sustain yourself. LA Natives is gonna give you a garment that other people are gonna go, I'm a part of this community. I'm a part of this movement of indigeneity and humility and connection. That's what you do when you wear an LA Native shirt, when you buy a Richie hat, when you believe in our message, and when you follow us loyally on Sundays and you comment on our message board. We're doing it slowly. You know? We're becoming a family again. Understanding that all of us are interconnected in some way. That we all have medicine to share with each other. The mission doesn't stop because you opened your mind. It just started. Use your entire body to make change. Use the spirit and the essence of your ancestors to shine the light on your road. They love you so much. They wouldn't build pyramids and connect them to the stars and the heavens above if they didn't have your little heart in mind. LA Natives.
LA Natives. Subscribe to the website. Follow us on YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Twitch. Check out our Spotify. We're on iTunes Podcast. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, you name it. Spread the word. Spread the positive message. Spread the positive energy. Let people know that we exist. We're trying to take this to a whole new level.
Follow us. JB, you have anything for the Women Nation? Give them a nice something to be inspired by. Think about your birth work. Think about your motherhood. Because we have to let the women talk. The women need to talk now. The women need to save us. The women need to help us. I'll protect anything you want me to protect. But I need to be inspired by your voice.
I think I'm just going to go along exactly with what you said. You know, everybody put your hand over your heart and feel that heartbeat and know that you are here with a purpose and know that you have a purpose here in this life. And for all of those that are viewing and with us, we thank you. Thank you. Tlasocamatli. May we never forget our medicines, and that medicine is love. Love. Love will heal everything.
Mexicatiawi. Tlasocamatli.
Tlasocamatli.
Ometeo. Tonansi. LA Natives.
LA Natives. We will see you guys next week.